2.30 que shows going.
Office still stands for time? No.
Wow, I always love hearing that music. Good evening, everybody. Happy Saturday night. Hope you all are doing good. We're just going to have a fresh notes, old notes episode, not necessarily going into anything particular, but we have quite a list of stuff we can. And it's going to kind of be whatever y'all feel like talking about. Whatever y'all feel like talking about. Dana, it's a long intro because I love highlighting other talented creators. We got the architect, awesome music that you hear in the background. We got Grizz that made the intro that has the show leading up to us saying hello. Shout out Grizz, appreciate you too, buddy. And Grizz even has the music that is with the intros as well. So it's not only the videos, it's also the music too. Shout out Grizz. Grizz is very, very, very talented. So I don't mind. Like I always say, if nobody wants to watch the intro, all you have to do is skip ahead 10 minutes and you know you're good. Ooh, look. See what I'm saying? We're at 11 and it was a minute of hello. See what I'm saying? Just skip ahead 10 minutes. Should be good. What's up, Jacqueline? How you doing? But we do have different things coming out here in the future. No, not Grizzly True Crime. This is Grismatically Clever. I put the channel link. Actually, you know what? Grizz is such a talented individual. Let's put his link up there twice. Dana, why don't you go sub to Grizz? Check out. He even has some educational videos when it comes to a lot of the stuff that goes around on the internet, the unfortunate stuff. So definitely go sub to Grizz, Dana. You'll understand why I promote him in the beginning of my show. Very, very dear person to me. Jacqueline, ticket number 1. Echo, ticket number 2. Good evening to you. What's up, Kid Kitty? Detective Golden, ticket number 3. Grizz is the man. What's up, Ruckus? Ticket number 4. Kelly. See y'all later. Looking forward to it. Oh, yeah, that was earlier, though. Damn, that was like 3 hours earlier. What's up? Scarlet, ticket number 5. Y'all like to just get those early tickets, don't you? Miley, ticket number 6. Yeah, that's what it is. You come in and get them early tickets, don't you? Bianca, ticket number 9. Katrina, ticket number 10. What's up? Detective Golden, hello. Angel, ticket number 11. Angel, I tried to make a community post. I might just have to take pictures or something. Because I even tried just putting up 25 questions and it said it was too long. So I might have to. The thing is I think you have to keep it to 5 photos with YouTube. So, or is it 4? Twitter and YouTube. It's one different from the other one. Whichever it is, I think I might. Yeah, I could probably shrink the font or something. We'll have to figure that out, though. I'd definitely love to post those. Or if you do have a post of them somewhere, let me know, and I can share the link with everybody and put the link in a community post as like a quick post for you too. Great questions last night. If you missed the show last night, Angel sent in 150 questions, and we went through those last night. So Angel, shout out to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angel. There she is. Tara Blue as well. Hey, friends with the flower. What's up with you? April, thank you for hopping in. Control Alt Delete. What's up? Crime Talk with Crin. Not much. Not much. I was going to today, but then I just did a bunch of work. Speaking of, I want to share this with you guys when we get done with the hellos. We got the OJ25 members only episode 1 tomorrow. It's going to be a multi-part members only. Probably going to be with commentary, just to give you a fair estimate. I don't know, just to give you a fair estimate with commentary, you're probably looking at like 8 or 9 episodes of about 3 hours long. So it's going to be quite a members only multi-part series, and it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have a lot of interesting conversations too, not only about what took place, but about how everything's advanced and what we know now and all of these different aspects. I think it's going to be a very interesting multi-part series that we're going to have for members. What's up, D? Marie, Moonlight, Rays, April again. There it is. What's up, Kaleidohope? Thank you for hopping in. Unravel, thank you. Speaking of, Dana, the guy who made the music right here, another true crime content creator, the architect. Definitely go follow on Twitter as well. Trust me. You'll understand why I highlight them in the beginning of the shows. Moonlight Rays, how did you like your visit to the Pacific Northwest? I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The cold, though? No. If it wasn't for the cold, I would probably really consider move there. Like, it's so beautiful there, really. The fog scares me. You know, going up into the elevation and it's like pitch dark at night. You already can't see nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets dark out there. And then you add fog with that, where you can only see 5 to 10 feet in front of you. And then when you're not familiar with the area and you don't know, you know, because you know them roads, there's a lot of roads where them ditches are drops. And yeah, it had me at the edge of my seat a few nights there, because I was like, damn, if this road just all of a sudden I'm going right, and I want to come back home. What's up, Mama 5? Thank you for hopping in. Appreciate you. But it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Mama 5. I appreciate the kind words. Oh, you're good. Hey. What's up? Hope you're doing better. Yes, we got a members only tomorrow. I can't wait to start it off. What's up, Sasha? Thank you for hopping in. And I love Scentsy. Oh my gosh, do I love Scentsy. That stuff smells so good. Better than anything in the store. What's up, Yoli? Scentsy is so good. What's up, Remy? How are you doing tonight? Scentsy. Oh, what's up, Ruckus? What's up, Brooke? Hope you are too. Ooh, I need to open the lid here. Ooh, that's hot. Well, I'm glad you hopped in. Thank you. Ooh, that's hot. That is so hot going down the... Woo! What's up, Nothing Half-Assed? Thank you for hopping in. What's up, Moto? Deborah, Lynn, thank you. Why do I call myself evil? But I hate the name, sort of. Well, it's short for Everywhereville, Donna. So just to... Here, I'll just give you I'll just show you. This is one of the logos that I don't use often, but right here. See where evil comes out of that? So it's not that it's evil, because it's not spelled E-V-I-L, it's E-V-I-L-L-E. Everywhereville. If that helps. Right? Because, man, can you imagine if I walked around everywhere and I was like, hey, it's Everywhereville. Huh? Everywhereville, CJ? What? Huh? It's evil, CJ. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, Caddy, the ticket number is when you hit the like, it's that number. My loves. Yes, your ticket number is your like number. So, speaking, thank you. I appreciate that, Miss Miller. Screen record something. Angel, why don't you? What about if? Would you be able to do that and then upload it to your channel? And then I can promote your channel for that. How about that? If you need help, let me know. Ticket number 37. See? Yeah, let me know, Angel, if you need help. But I really, like, you should be highlighted for it. And if there's a way that you can put it on your channel like that, I would love to share it. And if you want... Ooh. Why don't... Message me. We'll figure out something. Maybe I'll do like a read-through where I know we went through them last night, but I added a lot of commentary to it. Maybe there's a way that we can make it where I don't have any commentary on it. It's just nothing but your questions. And what I'll do is I won't. How about this, Angel? How about this? How about this? I don't even use my camera. I don't use nothing with my name on it. I make a recording. I just give you my voice. And I will have the questions as the full screen. And then I will ask the questions, and then it'll be just the questions in my voice. And then I will make that video. I will send it to you, and then you can upload it to your YouTube. How's that? And then that way my face isn't on it, my name's not on it. It's all your channel, it's all your video, it's all your whatever. The only thing that I did is that I added my voice to give it an audio along with, the video of it. Let me know. Saturday night, I hit like on my Roku, but thanks. Thank you so much. It's snowing. Oh, shoot. No way. Hope not. What's up, Mama J? Thank you. Them ditches are drops. That is true. Lots of rain. Yeah, it's when it's nighttime and it's foggy. I was like, oh my gosh. What's up, Root? That's the only thing I could think of was flying off of a road that just turned real quick and me just going. Phew. And it's crazy. That fog is no joke. Thanks. No problem. What's up, the Richards Art? Oh, it's a cool name change. I thought that was you the other night. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I kind of want to do like I kind of want. What's up, Megan? Kind of want to do a painting. Something like here, let me change my background real quick. I kind of want to do like a painting like this, like what my background is. Something like that. Like a painting like that, but with more color to it, Like bright colors, not just red. But something like that, I think it'd be cool. And so, speaking of, I'm going to share this with you guys, and then we're going to get into the show. So give me one moment, and we'll get that ready. I can't wait for tomorrow, everybody. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. Episode 1. I can't wait. This is OJ25. Members only. So if you're a member, and I know YouTube's being crazy about the notifications, so if you're a member, you didn't get the notification for it, here's the notification. Episode 1. Ooh, let me like my own video. Oh, look at that. We got Detective and Kelly Miller already there typing in. But yeah, this is going to be fun. We're going to go through all the key moments of each week. Then we're going to watch the verdict, the opening statement. First, the opening statement, then the verdict. Then we're going to include a bonus episode at the end with OJ sitting down with that lady when he discusses the book, If I Did It. if you guys remember that interview. So it's going to be, they're going to be roughly 3-hour episodes every Sunday, noon Central, 1 Eastern. And we're going to be having OJ members only for the next however many Sundays it's going to be. And I'm still thinking maybe like after they're done, maybe then putting them out for public, or maybe I thought about maybe having like a 2-week delay on them or something like that. So that way, if anybody isn't able to afford it, you know what I'm saying? The economy is tough. I don't want them to miss out on it either. So there's going to be some kind of delay when it comes to these members only shows. 2 weeks, maybe, something like that. Maybe when we drop on the third one live, I'll open up the first one, something like that. Because I definitely want it to be available for everybody, but I can't wait. First episode starts tomorrow. So excited. And then we will be having our game night tomorrow night, our hangout episode. We'll probably do another choose your own adventure. And then I'm going to try and get Family Feud and Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader and all those games back into the rotation. And I think we're good for that. So we should. I think we'll have a lot more games available tomorrow night as well. So I'm excited for that. So that'll probably be, this will be noon Central, 1 Eastern, OJ25 members only. And then the game night will probably be around 6 or 7 Central, 7, 8 Eastern, something like that. But I'll put the notification out there tomorrow for tomorrow's game night. Tomorrow. Can't wait for this tomorrow, though. All right. Let's get into some fresh notes, old notes. Now, there was that document drop yesterday. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that there's anything in those documents? Like, seriously. Oh, Kid Kitty, hold on. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Hell yeah. Is it not showing it again? Is StreamYard not... Is it really doing that again? It's not doing it again, is it? It's not doing it. It's not showing me. What is going on with YouTube or StreamYard? No, it's not on YouTube either, is it? It's not. It's not even showing it on YouTube. That's messed up. Dang. Well, enjoy OJ25. Members only tomorrow. I can't wait. I'm so excited for that. All right. The one I want to get to first, all right, and the one that I've been wanting to get to all week is this While Idaho Slept author. Let me see what else I got here real quick. Let's go to a harsh reality video here. Is he having a live tomorrow? Is he having a live tomorrow? Oh, I can't wait for this. Oh, I'm so excited, everybody. Plus, the there's so many. It was kind of funny because I was going through in my head earlier. I sent a message about all the shows that I have prep done for. Trying to just remember them off my head. There's this OJ thing. This isn't going to be the only one. It's going to be the only one that's every Sunday. Now, I'm not going to say that we're not going to have like members only on a Saturday afternoon or a Thursday night or something, because there's when I sent this message about all these different cases or shows that I have stuff already done for, some of them, most of them, even for multiple shows just on that topic. It made me realize, I was like, damn, I'm sitting here just saving this for regular stuff. Why don't I just add these on special nights too, So we're going to be having other stuff. I'm going to put a community poll out in a few days when I get it dwindled down to 4 choices, and then I'll let you guys vote. And I'll probably do like the top 2 votes. We'll do additional members only shows with those topics too. Because one of the ones I would really like to do one on is Epstein. There's a lot of stuff that I have for that one that I have been getting for that one for like a year and a half, even before I started my show. So that's one I really, really would like to get into too. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more members only topics too. Anything would be sealed. Anything would be sealed to the... Hello on Cloud9. Oh, no, I can't wait. You always have these crafty sayings, Deborah Lynn. You always got these crafty sayings. Harsh is live tomorrow. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff for that one, you guys. Really. Shout out to 60 Minutes Australia. There's a lot of... You break it by it. Let me see here. Does he have a live schedule? Let's share it if he does. I don't see it. 2 days ago. Maybe not. All right, so this is a video he had out earlier here. Talking about these documents.
Well,
now.
Hello there. How is it?
Oh, okay. So they got documentation, right? Okay. Who's... Like I said last night when I started off the show, when it comes to this document, I could tell you I got an autographed card, but how much is it worth if you don't know who it is? So how much is this paperwork worth to you if you don't even know what's on it? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. All right, because come on, it could be like a header and a signature. Oh, that's not bad at all, Deborah. It's crafty. It's crafty. Yes, 60 Minutes Australia. Shout out to them. I actually like them a lot. I've watched their channel for probably 6 years or so, something like that, maybe 7. I like their investigative work that they do. It's a lot different than the 60 Minutes here in the United States. 60 Minutes Australia. They do their digging. They actually report the shit real. So shout out 60 Minutes Australia. For real. All right, this is Harsh's new video talking about those exact documents. We'll see what he has to say.
I hope you're all well. It's Saturday, it's the weekend, and look, some of you lucky buggers, you get a day off, but some of us, we don't.
We
We
don't.
have to continue grafting. We have to continue the work to bring information and services to the people, the masses, because they deserve it. Anyway, you're looking amazing. I hope you have an amazing weekend.
Gorgeous.
Now, I am planning on going live tomorrow, so I hope to catch
okay.
some of you there. But in this video, we're just going to
Cool.
be touching on the Idaho4 case very, very quickly as we look at the two.
So I'll probably he usually goes live about 4:30, 5 o'clock Central, 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern. Does anybody have an idea when he's thinking about going live? Because I definitely, if I got to bump up my OJ25, I got to bump up my OJ25. I want to make sure that I'm there for her.
Latest documents. Some of you will have seen them already. Some of you won't. One of the documents came out a couple of days ago or so, and it's quite interesting. I know Jules did a video. She spoke about it, and we can kind of ponder over it together. We don't really know what it's all about, and the likelihood is it ain't about a lot. But the second one does put it's something to a close. Well, I say to a close. It perhaps that's the wrong way to put it. Perhaps it actually does completely the opposite and kind of starts a certain ball rolling. But look, before we look at the docs, let's just touch on something, because we're heading towards Christmas. It's going to be Christmas in, 3 and a bit weeks. And this case has been going for over a year now. And this is the second Christmas where these victims have sadly not been with us. They've not been with their families. Their families have had to endure what should be a very, very happy time when they come together and
damn harsh.
They have good times, good times.
What's he trying to do to us, man? Putting that music in there like Hollywood and shit. Damn harsh. I mean, it hits you right here already. And then he throws that Hollywood music in there. Damn, man.
And that's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen for a second time since this crime happened. And not only do they not have their loved ones with them, but they still do not have any closure. This case is still ongoing. And we know...
speaking of... Remember, like... way back in the beginning, I used to have that TV screen. Like when we watch old CJ episodes, I got that TV on the side and shit. Isn't it funny? Like, and then all of a sudden, boom, then other people have TVs popping up next. Oh, man. When I before it even had Evil CJ on it, because they're for a long time, it just had that Evil CJ screen on it. But before that, when I first started doing that, because I was like, man, I ain't got no green screen. I ain't got no things to hang up on my wall. I ain't got no little, whatever the fuck them little figurines are and shit. I ain't got none of that. Right? When I had like a record on the wall, my guitar in the corner, just dumb things, And then I was like, you know what? Let me put a TV on there because I think it'd be real cool to have some kind of animations going next to me. And so then it was just animations and then all that. But it is kind of funny. But, hey, we weren't the original ones. You know what I'm saying? We're not the originals. It's just... I mean, I love this background I have now. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love it.
Know that some of the families are handling it better, or maybe better is not the right word. Maybe to say they're handling it different.
Oh, thank you guys.
Some of them we're getting to see, and we're getting to sort of see how they're handling that journey and what they're doing with regards to their healing process, if you like, if they can be healing at this stage.
Damn,
and
harsh.
some we don't see so much. We don't really hear anything.
And that Hollywood music.
Some of the parents are interacting with people who have channels, and they are having open discussions about how they feel about certain things. But look, let's just take a moment just to remember that no matter what we do in this case, we may speak about people, we may talk about things that are unpalatable. We may point the finger at people and say, do you know what? You should have been different. You should have done something different. You should have done something, anything. And, some people don't like that. And we do it because at the heart of this crime, 4 young adults lost their lives. And regardless of how anybody feels about this situation in general, we have someone who's been accused. And as much as some people can feel that this person has done this crime, there will be some that are on the fence with it and they don't know. There'll be some that are flat out refuse to believe he did. And do you know what? These people exist. Like the people like myself who are on the fence exist. The people who believe that Brian Kohberger is completely innocent exist for one reason. And that is because there is a complete lack of transparency in this case. And surely it could be argued that in a case of this gravity, even in cases of less gravity, when we're just dealing about people who have been hurt and where there is a potential to learn from it, isn't it the right of people to see that process unfold, see how it unfolds? And all we get told is we can't see this, we can't see that because it puts somebody at risk or it puts a system at risk. And I can't buy that. I don't buy into that. The entire system should be open, should be transparent, because that would act as a deterrent for would-be people who would do crimes like this. If they know that they are going to be made a spectacle of, they know, and look, I know what some people are going to say. Some people want to be made a spectacle of, and they'll actually love that. But ultimately, I don't think anybody sets out to get caught. Anybody who doesn't go into...
Just like they don't call into a fucking YouTube show. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit. Are we still on this kick that Kohberger called? Oh, my lord. I'm so glad you guys appreciate me and not exploring shit that is just it's not about the clicks and views. I can't believe it. I was like, wow. I knew it wasn't Kohberger when it was taking place that evening, and I'm surprised a year later. I'm surprised a year later people still think it's Kohberger. I mean, all you have to do is listen to the words from the person themselves from that evening. Repeatedly. No, this was like 10, 15 years ago. It's right there.
Somewhere.
Unless it's fancily edited or something. I don't know. But come on. Yoli, that's the reason I stopped watching that channel that night. Because I used to kick it in that channel. And then that night, I'm sitting there, like, standing there at my TV going, This is not Kohberger. Why is this is not Kohberger? And then after that, I just changed the channel because I was like, damn. People are easily fooled, I suppose.
Brandishing a weapon and just unleashes carnage and gets caught on the spot.
I mean, I'm just saying.
They're the people who want
think
to
about
get
it.
caught.
Listen to the verbiage, people. Listen to the verbiage. Hopefully, it's the whole thing in its entirety, and not edited or something. Just listen. I don't know. I just remember standing there live going, you seriously think this is him, dude? And I'm like, okay. Next.
They're the people who want the spotlight, the limelight.
It was cool
The
till
crimes
then.
like
I was
this, I
just,
don't
after
think
that,
the
I'm like,
person goes into this crime to
whoa.
get caught, to get seen.
You know,
They do
like I was like Homer that just kind of went shoof into the bushes. I was just like, yeah, let's just get the fuck out of here.
Because they're sick. They do it because they're evil.
I was Homer in the bushes.
And this sort of case deserves transparency. The public deserves transparency. The families, they deserve transparency. And because of that lack, we are now in this situation where people exist who doubt the system, who doubt that the person who has been accused has indeed done it. And it just further feeds the fuel and
Damn, this is a good video.
enlarges these flames that are the doubt and the hurt and the anger and the upset as we could potentially venture into a third Christmas without a conclusion.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, I
unfortunately,
digress. It's just something to ponder on.
Man, he snuck this video on us. Man, the music especially. The music especially. Good video though. It's a great message too.
Things can't exist if things are stamped out. And people who speculate, you know, people hate people like me. People hate people who speculate over cases like this. But we only exist because the system is broken. It's a broken system. Now, I know some people say it's not so much.
It'll never be perfect, but we have to strive to get close to it, because that's what justice is the right thing. We'll never be perfect. We just have to strive to get close to it. And yeah, Caddy, I watched that video. That was like earlier this year or something. I watched that video and he talked about his story and all of that stuff. Yeah, it's sad. You know what I mean? It's always about respect for the victims' families and the communities. And that gentleman is part of a community. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that is one of the episodes we're going to get to, my Lee. I know. It just came out today, too. I can't wait for that. In fact, we probably should get to that one next, is what I'm thinking.
That it's broken. It's just that it's
yeah,
it's
these are
almost like
people's
it's just
real
rotten to the
lives. You know
core.
what I'm
It's just
saying?
the way that the system is. It's not a broken system. It is the system in terms of who runs it. This is how they want to run it. So it's not. It ain't. It's just the way that the system is gauged to be. So we have a look at these docs.
Oh, he cut the music
this is
on
the
me.
biggie. This is the biggie. This
was
is
about
the
to start
notice
humming.
of in-camera submission. So this is for the IGG. We know that there was a deadline set by Judge. He said 1st of December, and here we go. So in the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Latah, notice of in-camera submission comes now the State of Idaho by and through the Latah County Prosecuting Attorney, and hereby gives notice that pursuant to this court's order 25th of October 2023, order addressing IGG DNA, and order for in-camera review, the state has submitted the IGG information in its possession, custody, or control to the court for in-camera review.
Who's to say, and let's be honest, who's to say they don't send the information in one, and there's one piece of paper on it, and it says, we already handed all over the information, and here's the list of information that we handed over, and this is everything we have. That could be possible. They just hand in a document that says this is the list of everything we have, and we've already given it. What's up, Lola? That's why we don't know. Just like you don't know how much the card's worth unless you know whose signature's on it.
Now, what I will note by this, it doesn't say that it's handed it over in its entirety, or we have everything. We have all of this IGG. They literally state that they've submitted
Yep.
the IGG information in its
Yep.
possession, custody,
Everything.
or control. So what
Or it's gonna be paperwork that they just didn't think made a difference, and it's not gonna make a difference, and it's just a bunch of confetti. Like, for real. I don't know why people are thinking that it's this big fucking thing. See, they handed over the doc. You don't even know what's on them. It could be a whole bunch of nothing. Like, seriously. I mean, this is everything. They've already said this whole time. They've given everything. What do you think they're going to produce now? Excuse me, I'm still... What do you think? They've been telling you this the whole time. What do you think they're going to produce now? Let's be real. That's why I said it's going to be a delay. Because he's going to look at it, and then they're going to... and Taylor, and then they're going to go, no. And they're going to have another court hearing. They're probably going to have some experts come in so they can testify exactly what the defense needs in order. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's... the prosecution doesn't care. That's why I'm saying delay. Yeah, they gave paperwork. Delay. They're
basically saying they've handed over what they had. Now, there could be an issue with this because there could be some information missing. We know that there's been 10 requests by Ann Taylor and the defense team, and previously for information, and this is likely, I can see this being incomplete. I hope it's not. I hope this does, as I said at the beginning of the video, I hope this is the start of moving towards some degree of resolution, and perhaps some of the questions that people have will finally be answered. But I guess over the next few weeks, perhaps. I don't know how the court system works over the Christmas period, whether they go into some form of shutdown. If they do, we know we're heading towards that. So whether a lot will happen this side of Christmas, who knows? I don't think a lot will happen between now and Christmas. But the other documentation was this one. This was a motion to temporarily seal stipulation in order to transfer evidence for forensic evaluation pending hearing. So what this seems to be suggesting is that there is perhaps some more evidence that they've all of a sudden come up against or come across. Seems handy, seems as we've just had the FBI
right?
sniffing back around 1122 King Road, and all of a sudden we've got this. So I know there's going to be some people who believe that there's a potential there is evidence that has been found. We've got the standard why it has been obviously put under the gag order. It could interfere with enforcement proceedings, deprive a person to the right of a fair trial or an impartial adjudication, constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, disclose the identity of a confidential source, and or disclose investigative techniques and procedures. Again, this kind of thing, we have argued whether these specific things are just commonplace in all of these documents, but we have seen certain things omitted, like the danger to life. In this one, there doesn't seem to state that it's putting anybody at risk, as in their personal being. This is more towards, we're looking back at confidential sources and the way in which law enforcement sort of operate.
They're not gonna show you how they got BK's dad, maybe. I mean, it's so funny when I read that fourth item, And I was like, holy shit. And it made me think of another case. And I'm like, is that how? And then some thought that I was reading the whole document as that was what the document was reading. And it was like, no. I was reading the document when I saw those words. And then it spawned the idea, yes. It is kind of interesting, though. Disclose the identity of a confidential source. Disclose investigative techniques and procedures. So what if they don't show how they matched it because of the techniques and procedures? Then what's it worth? It's not worth much.
And that does seem to be, what do they call it, boilerplate?
Arrest,
when
yes.
it is just what the...
Arrest, yes. And, like they say, you can indict a ham sandwich, okay. But when it comes down to actually, doing everything, that's what you have to question.
Prosecution put in all of their docs. So we don't know what it is. All we know is that
OJ 25 tomorrow.
Maybe, because we're sort of skating around this IGG situation. Let me just come out of here. Maybe they've decided that perhaps those previously unknown DNA samples, perhaps they're going to do something with them all of a sudden. Perhaps they've sort of, again, this is going down the route of speculation, I do apologize, but perhaps they're looking at the time frame, they're looking at things, and they're thinking, do you know what, could someone else be involved? And with unknown DNA floating around, is that something that could crop up and cause damage later on, unless they've got some real slam dunk evidence against Brian Kohberger? Because I would say that, and look, I would say that if they haven't got anything other than what we've seen, and all that has been put out that is pretty much the most damning of it, then they do need more. And things like this other 3 male DNA samples, this is something that they do need to deal with. Now, they could have evidence that does not fail the litmus test, if you like, when it comes to reasonable doubt, and they don't need it. Maybe that's why it hasn't been processed. Maybe they feel that they've got enough information to just go ahead and get this sent down the river. But time will tell. Time will tell. But they are the newest docs, so it's all about IGG. That is the investigative genetic genealogy information.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's going to be a court hearing next week, I'm sure. Because even if, right now, I know it's a Saturday night right now, and I can guarantee you Judge is sitting there in his sofa next to his fireplace with his glass of wine and his cigar, reading through all these documents. Doesn't that sound great? A cigar, a fireplace, a sofa, glass of wine, the crackle from the fire. Sounds so comfy. All right. Now, this is law offices of...
If you've been exploring...
Whoa. Law offices of Andrew D. Myers. We're going to check out this latest episode. I love their shows. This is, let me see here. 5 questions do distrustful court and law enforcement leave curious public alienated. Very good title. I can't wait to watch it. I'm so glad they dropped a new video, and I'm glad that you all are hanging out and we can talk about it together. So if you're not subbed to law offices of Andrew Myers, definitely go sub. Very good videos. I think the prosecution wants to lose this to cover up. Yeah. Lola, I've said they don't care if there's a conviction. They just wanted to charge, right? You get somebody charged, then it's supposed to be okay. I mean, when we've seen other cases that they've done, If you go to my video section and go to the 2017 Ann Taylor acquittal, just skip to the end of the video and you'll see what the prosecution says when the person gets off. It's horrible. Well, we just felt like we're sorry that they didn't agree. We're sorry that they didn't agree. But we felt the person that we charged committed the crime, and we're not going to go try and chase down any other leads. It's horrible. When I saw that, I was like, oh, hell no. That's what's going to take place here. They don't care about a conviction. They don't care if their sloppy work gets them screwed. Look, we lost because we couldn't give up the information. We lost. We're sorry. It was out of our control. But we still feel like the person we charged committed this crime, and there's no other leads to show anything else. And that's all they have to say. That's it. It's sad. All right, 5 questions again. Oh, I love these videos. Great conversation. Oh gosh, they're going to be getting into Dylan's video. Andrew Myers, though, he's funny as shit. Lainey Law, she's awesome. And Doug Cope, he's just that third wheel. He's funny too. All right, hold on. We'll get into this episode here. Thank you all for hanging out. And if y'all want me to rewind or check something out or re-listen, let me know in chat and we can kind of go through it together.
If you've been exploring YouTube, you have seen video upon video about the Brian Kohberger case upon hundreds, if not thousands, of different channels. Why is this such a big topic, and why are there still so many questions left unanswered? On this episode of About the...
Oh, cool. There's a guitar back there too. I'm afraid for his bookshelves. They look like they're kind of bending down a little bit. I need a little room like that. That's like a corner or something.
The law. So some people thought that it couldn't have been done, but here we are today with 5 more questions about the Kohberger case. I'm Lainey Law.
I'm attorney Andrew Myers.
And we are here with Doug Cope once again to ask you guys questions to make your little gears spin and to see the ins and outs of this case. And obviously, as always, be sure to tell us what you think about everything in the comments because you guys have been so awesome. Now, Andrew, how on earth can we possibly have 5 more points of the Kohberger case?
Well, first of all, I want to say, Doug, welcome. Good to see you again.
Yes, thank you very much. And it's just amazing. You can come up every single week with some other aspect of this case. This is the case that keeps on giving.
Well, Doug, there are hundreds.
What the fuck?
To narrow it down to 5 every week, and I'll give you a little preview. One of them is a repeat from the previous
What
one,
the
but it is just so important that it deserves
He's like
a closer look. But Doug, there's just so many points.
Doug is like the Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson, you know? He's like Doug is like the perfect setup man for Andrew. He's like the Ed McMahon. Here's Johnny, you know, the little crack jokes in the beginning, the you're the best and all this other stuff. She makes you think of Paula Abdul. They make excellent points. They really do. They really do. That's why I love their videos. I love sharing their videos with you guys. What's up, Toes? How you doing? What's up, Corey? Yeah, they are awesome. We ran into them a few weeks ago. Shout out to them.
And as you know, this case has been kept secret and sealed and sequestered and gagged, and now the media's been kicked out. That all of that is backfired because if you dig into YouTube, there are new podcasts, there are new media videos every single day. So the whole idea of sealing this case, I think, has more than backfired.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, honestly, like, if everything was out in the open, realistically, would this be as crazy of a situation as now? Because now that everything's, gagged and sealed, people are digging harder than ever versus, and, maybe more often than not coming along misinformation as a result of that because they're so desperate to find out more versus if everything were out in the open, maybe we wouldn't be where we are today.
Well, that's
Hold
a
on to that
natural
thought.
inclination of people, you know?
Well, hold on to that thought and ask me why we don't have more in the end. But let's get into our 5. The first one is, and this is going to be a little bit controversial, and people might get mad at me, but people are mad at me every day anyhow. So,
Right?
It's your job to have people mad at you, attorney.
It's the damn truth. Well, not just that, just period. Freaking YouTube itself. You know what I mean? The fuck do? I do shows about the topic in general. And then you have other shows that do shows about other people, and it's just like, geez. When I'm just over here doing my own show. Like, what the fuck? Man. Sorry, her mic sounds like it's a little loud, so it's not the video. But this is funny shit. It's a great group. Great group here.
Yeah, Myers.
it's my life. So let's get right into it. Back on October 3rd, the Daily Mail had an article showing that Idaho murders victim roommate Dylan Mortensen, one of the survivors, is now isolating herself, but healing by gaming online with groups of friends. As her father says, he is deeply heartbroken by brutal cyber bullies. But first of all, Lainey, I'm going to tell a story out of school here. Let me read this again. Dylan Mortensen is isolating herself. She still has survivor's guilt, but she is healing by gaming online. And Lainey, I'm going to tell a story out of school and tell people that you know a lot about gaming. Is gaming a way to really heal from a stressful thing like this?
Well, I don't know how you would guess that I know a lot about gaming, whether it be the stack of games here, the stack of Pokemon stuffed animals, or the Nintendo Switch.
I'm sorry. I like gaming for winding down. I just never do it because I'm always working on the show. But yeah, gaming definitely helps. I don't know. It always helped me take my mind off shit. Just forget about shit for a while.
Over there, but it's an interesting thought because, like you said, is isolating and gaming. It's ironic because even though you're playing online with friends, that's kind of a good way to put the experience of gaming where you're sitting alone in a room. And for me personally, I definitely game when I'm stressed out. However, it's usually counterproductive in the sense where when you're gaming, you're putting yourself in a different world. And now with gaming, a lot of people associate gaming as being competitive and being high intensity, potentially being violent. So you wouldn't necessarily think like, oh, this is going to be healing. How is this a healing experience? But
it's healing for me because I'll pop in Red Dead Online. I'll listen to the nature, the birds, the wind, the animals, and I'll just walk around and do stuff. But we're going to skip this video game chatter and we're going to head straight into the topic.
Reflection, I don't know. It's more kind of like an escape. It's something you do. Like I might go home at the end of the day and put my headphones on and listen to music. It's kind of like that. Okay, so let's get back to young Dylan. Where did she go? There she is. So you're saying, okay, maybe it's something that helps her to heal by escaping. So that was the statement that they made back on October 3rd, was that, she was still suffering from survivor's guilt. Fast forward to November 26th, the Daily Mail had quite a spread with many more pictures than the ones we're showing here, where Dylan Mortensen is seen in costume, dancing and partying with friends. And, there were other photos of her and her friends, partying it up and having a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all, hope that she goes on with her life and does I'm at a loss for words, that she goes on with her life and that she's able to recover from this as much as possible. She probably will have PTSD for the rest of her life. But the problem I see here is that, on the one hand, she's isolating herself and having problems. And on the other hand, just weeks later, she's partying it up. Now, and she's a star witness, by the way. She's a star witness. If you go back to the probable cause affidavit, it is she and not the other survivor, Bethany Funk. It is she that gave the testimony about seeing a man clad in black, and he had bushy eyebrows, and he was so high, and he was built in a certain way. So she has to be a witness. In a case like this, you've got to have a witness at the scene, and she's it. She's supplying material for cross-examination. Oh, so you had survivor's guilt. Oh, well, here are pictures of you partying. Is that survivor's guilt? So I'm just saying that there is cross-examination material. We're not even going to talk about the 8-hour delay. We're not even going to talk about the initial shock phase. But I see this as creating cross-examination fodder. Am I taking it too far, guys?
Well, I mean, she's partying. That's another form of escape, I guess.
Mhm.
Right? So
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah. Because it's like, and one of the things that I forgot to mention with the gaming is that for, back on gaming. No, like for some people, you go home and, you can listen to your music and read a book and escape for a little bit. But gaming can also manifest in like addiction too. So I don't, we can't say anything about Dylan, but, somebody who games people who are predispositioned to like addiction, it can be a problem and consume their life. And going out and partying, I don't know this person, maybe it was once and like we saw it's Halloween, so maybe it's like her first party back, I don't know. But that's like another thing too, where it's just like if you have addictive tendencies, gaming is appealing, partying and drinking is appealing.
I mean, it gets your mind off of shit, really, because you're not even thinking about stuff. That's why I like it. That's why I do gaming, because what's up, gorgeous? That's why I do it, because it takes your mind off of shit, man. You don't, just because you game doesn't mean you're running around blasting a bunch of people. That's just one game. That's not all of them. Hell, we're gonna be doing game night tomorrow night. There's nothing wrong with that. What's up? Yeah, it's always a problem, right? When it's 8 hours. Gorgeous. Hope you're feeling better. Oh my gosh, isn't this sick bug a freaking... This thing just lingers. It says, no, I'm not leaving you alone. It's like, come on, just leave me alone. No, I'm not leaving you alone. Oh, gorgeous. I don't even know what accent that is. What accent is that? What accent would that be? I haven't done the Washington Plate Cowboy for a while either. I need to do that. We haven't done any Washington State Cowboy voices lately. What are the games tomorrow? We have Choose Your Own Adventure, where it's a story, and whatever choices we make determine our path onto the next choice. You can play them multiple times and have different outcomes. Also, I'm going to be bringing back, hopefully if it works out, I'm going to be bringing back Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, Family Feud, some stuff like that. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Deal or No Deal, all sorts. Head cold, yeah. Right now, it's all in my nasal, my Bougie accent. Bostonian. Yeah, that's probably what it is, ain't it? That's probably what it is. I bet you do. I wish I had a VR gaming system. That'd be sweet. With like a lightsaber or something, you know? Shit. I barely even have time to play my own damn games. I barely even have time to play my own shit. Well, you heard the CrimeCon next year's on a cruise. I was gonna go until I heard that. And then I said, fuck that. I ain't going on no boat. You're out of your damn mind. Thanks, Moonlight. There's a lot of sickness going around. Yeah, gaming's good. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Shit. It's like people used to blame rap music for people going and blasting people. Like, give me a break. It's because I was listening to a Tupac song. The fuck you. Fuck that.
And when you're going through like a state of distress, you know.
Have I seen the game where you gotta get them? No. I don't even see I've never the only VR game whoa, the message is covering me. The only VR game that I've seen was a 9/11 VR game, and that shit was creepy. Oh, that shit was creepy. Other than that, no, I haven't. I know. I said I wasn't going on a plane, and I flew to frickin' Moscow, didn't I? I did. Am I afraid to get on a fucking plane? Damn straight I am. Was I nervous the whole time I was in the air? Damn straight I was. Was I nervous even after we landed? Yeah, I was. Like, I was nervous the whole damn time. Especially when we're like flying by mountains and shit. And it's just like, oh, damn. Yeah. No. I'm not getting on no boat. I'm not getting on any boat. I'm not getting on a boat. I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'll get on a boat if I can see the land. I'll tell you that. That would be the fucking best right there. The price is right. Oh my gosh. That would be so awesome. Oh man, that would be so awesome. No boat. No boat. Oh, that's cool, man. Went to Paris. I don't even know if I'd even go to another country now. It would be awesome. Oh, thank you so much, little Tweety Bird lemon drop guy. Thank you. Appreciate that. No boats. CJ will do a booze cruise only on the coast. That's right. If I gotta listen. I gotta be able to swim. I gotta be able to swim there. All right. I gotta be able to swim there. I ain't getting stuck on no boat out in the middle of the ocean. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. You know how many times you see them damn cruise boats freaking get stuck out in the middle of the water or they tip over sideways? No. This is not Titanic 2024. It ain't happening. It's not happening. I want to see the land. I want to be able to swim to it. That's it. Right? I will. That's where I will kick it on a boat if I can see the damn land. That's it. That's all. That's it. I'm not. Nope. I will jump the fuck off. If I was forced to get on a cruise, I would jump the fuck off. As soon as I don't see when that light disappeared, doof, where'd CJ go? Oh shit, he went up. Yep, he went over. Later. I ain't doing it. No, it's not happening. All right, back to this.
you're more prone to be susceptible to those things.
I ain't doing it.
I hate to bring it down, but again, I do believe that there is a problem in cross-examination, and she is supplying ammunition for cross-examination. I mean, yes, go out and party and have a good time. People of all ages like to do that, but knowing that there's a camera there and knowing that there are media people out there that are going to spread it all over the place. All right, I have a lot more to say about that, but you know what?
Let's go to number 4.
Let's go to number 4.
There you go.
By popular request, we will now go to number 4. And this is the repeat, but I think it is really worth taking another look at that timeline, because previously we had all different times. We had the time of the neighbor's clock, or the neighbor's camera catching certain things, and we had other things happening. These are the only 2 times that are really relevant. At 4:04 a.m. on November 13th of 2022, the suspect vehicle, the Hyundai Elantra that law enforcement believes that Mr. Kohberger was driving, made a 3-point turn at King Road and Queen Road. And this is in the probable cause affidavit on page 6, paragraph 2. Then only 16 minutes later at 4:20 a.m., that suspect vehicle number 1 departs the area of King Road residence at a high rate of speed, and that's in the probable cause affidavit, page 6, paragraph 3. Take a closer look at that. That's only 16 minutes between the 3-point turn and taking off at a high rate of speed. In 16 minutes, someone parked the car, got out of the car, went into the property, committed the crimes, the 4 murders, and then somehow cleaned up to the extent that they got to the car, leaving no blood anywhere, no footprints anywhere, no nothing. 16 minutes. Really? Do you guys believe that?
Well, as you said, we've discussed this before, and it is highly questionable. And of course, one of the victims was stabbed, what was it, 53 times?
Yeah, 54,
something along those lines. So, yeah, it is kind of questionable that to do all of that would require more time than 16 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's worth bringing up again. You know,
Now,
worth saying, hey,
Not
is this
not and you know, and people want to talk about just the crime itself. It's not just the crime. It's exactly what he's saying. The fact that somebody can go in there, commit the crime, not leave any of their DNA behind, clean up behind them if they did clean up, where you don't know how they left, and then to get into the vehicle to speed away and not have anything tied to the victims in the vehicle. Forget about everything else. To not have anything tied to the victims in the vehicle, all of that in a 16-minute period. That's what you have to ask. That's what you have to say, is that possible? Yeah, it's possible somebody could have committed that crime when they walked in and did this, and you know, but when you add the fact that there's no DNA of them left behind other than the sheath, there's no evidence of how they left the crime scene, and then there's no evidence tying the victims in the vehicle. I'm sorry, I would have loved to be able to clean a vehicle in a few minutes like that. Man, my job would have been so much more easier instead of it being 4 or 5 hours a vehicle. You know, it would have been so much easier.
actually possible?
Now, there are people out there that say this is not the accurate timeline, that if you look at all of the cameras, not just the law enforcement cameras, if you look at all of the cameras in Moscow, Idaho, there were other Hyundai Elantras of the proper model, not the model that Mr. Kohberger had, but of the correct model that the law enforcement originally saw at different times. So it is possible. Many people suggest that this timeline is going to change between now, or the date of the probable cause affidavit, December 2022, and the time of the trial. But that's a problem, because you have a police officer signing the probable cause affidavit as you sign all affidavits under the pains and penalties of perjury. So now they're going to bring that officer in, who, by the way, was one of the many investigative officers, and they're going to cross-examine him. And so this timeline is a problem in more ways than one. And as you would say, Mr. Cope,
Yes.
it's a gift that keeps giving.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I can't believe this. I don't know. Like when you say it's like 16 minutes, it's just like I cannot even wake up and like go anywhere in 16 minutes. Obviously, you know, you in a situation like that, you're a little bit more calculated. But the span of 16 minutes, I don't know who's accomplishing anything in that. It's like you can't even make breakfast in 16 minutes a lot of the time. My toaster takes like 7. Like it's crazy.
This is nuts. Okay, let's go.
You need a new toaster.
The toaster oven.
that could be a Christmas present.
Everybody got to become members on our YouTube channel to help support the.
I'm not gonna call him Doug Cope. I'm gonna give him the nickname Doug McMahon because he's like the perfect Ed McMahon. He's gonna be Doug McMahon.
A toaster fund.
So now we go to the next one, and this too is a little bit of a repeat, but not really. The media was kicked out on the defendant Bryant Kohberger's motion to remove cameras. And on November 17th of 2023, the court stated that it is the intense focus on Kohberger and his every move, along with adverse headlines and news articles, that leads this court to conclude that continued photographing and video coverage inside the courtroom by the media should no longer be permitted. And so they kicked him out, and they're going to do it on the judge's YouTube page. And here it is. I checked it out.
That is insane to me. You know, it's a very dystopian society where we live in, where it's like every professional has like a YouTube channel.
No, it's because he wanted to make sure that he controlled how in the hell the broadcast is going to be done, because freaking Court TV couldn't play by the damn rules. Speaking of Judge's YouTube page, let me get that up for you and we'll share that real quick. Let me see here. Now, we used to get, here it is real quick, 5.38. It kind of slowed down there. Damn, he got to 3,000 there pretty quickly the first day we got it from that court document. So there's if you're not subbed to Judge, there's the link. So before, we used to get our court hearings from Court TV off of Twitter. That's how we were always able to get it before everybody else. Now, nobody's going to be able to get it before anybody else anymore. It's going to basically be coming off of Judge's YouTube channel. He didn't make it to make money. He didn't make it for, to see what people comment. He didn't make it for none of that. I honestly highly doubt that you're going to be able to comment on it because I don't know why they would. I really highly doubt it, because they're not going to have moderators there to control what's being typed. So I don't even see them allowing it. And it's basically just to have, it's for the public to have access to the court hearing, because because Court TV couldn't play by what the judge asked. Now, I'm sure if Court TV would have, they probably would have been the exclusive video feed of the court hearing, but because they didn't want to, thanks to Judge, he didn't even have to do this. But I'm so glad that he did, because it's very important that this case is televised. So shout out to him. If you want to see an example of what it's probably going to look like, all you have to do is just go to the Chad Daybell court hearing live streams, and I assume, because it's in the same area, I assume they are going to do the court hearings the same exact way, just like Chad Daybell's, because they weren't going to, and then they ended up, that judge made a YouTube channel, and was doing it. So I'm excited for that. We'll see. So whenever it does come out, nobody's gonna have it first. It's gonna be available to everybody at the same exact time now, just from here. So if you're not subbed and you didn't catch the link before, there's the link to Judge's YouTube channel, and definitely go give a sub. There's going to be a court hearing coming soon. I can feel it. Next week sometime. I'm Wednesday, Friday, something. Hell, it might even be Monday. We don't know. Tuesday. I'm just thinking Wednesday or Friday, something like that.
Right? Like in our case where we're like discussing law things, it's interesting, but it's like crazy to like I can't imagine like a police officer having a YouTube channel, but maybe they'd pop off. I don't know. Little strange.
Judge? Oh, come on.
Yeah. That's John Judge. Yeah. Now, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, so I did not copy their page of his. This is a likeness of the page. This is a likeness of the page, and you'll notice that the little subscribe button isn't the same. So, but what is accurate is that that's his YouTube page, and as of today, the day we're recording this, he had 5,240 odd subscribers.
Yeah.
So
Slay.
there it is.
It's crazy.
I can only imagine that between today and the day the case is actually tried, that number will go way, way, way up. But there it is. Lainey,
it's... Oh, sorry.
no, it's all right. I was just going to ask you, it would seem to me that with the trial being on YouTube, and you know a lot more about YouTube than I do, although I'm learning really quickly, YouTube has really very restrictive rules about what you can and you can't do with their material. Once you post something on YouTube, they own it. They have the copyright. And I was looking at their rules yesterday. I'm questioning, whether Court TV, News, Not Nation, ABC, CBS, all those people, are they going to be able to grab the live stream and put it on the air? Are they going to be able to take little clips and put them on?
No, it's going to be like the other ones were. They're not going to be televised live. They're going to be recorded and streamed, and then they're going to be uploaded. So it'll be just like before, where we would sit there and wait for the court hearing to be done. And then about an hour to 2 hours later, then it would drop on Court TV's Twitter. And then that would be live. And then after Court TV's Twitter had the episode, then about an hour or two after Court TV, sometimes the next day is when they would upload it on YouTube. But I have a feeling it's going to be recorded. The hearing's going to go on, and then they're going to upload the video. But who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it will be live.
On the evening news, just how much can the legacy media use these clips out of YouTube? Do you know?
Yeah, and that's like
See you
awesome
later,
for
buddy.
you, Judge, for your 5,000 subscribers. Like we, through blood, sweat, and tears, hit 2,000. Thank you, everybody watching. We appreciate you. But that being
Oh, I know there's a lot of evil CJ community over there. That's because we've been promoting the shit out of that channel. Damn straight. I was ticket 384, 364, 384, something like that. And then we just blew it all up. Shout out to the community.
being said, the fact that if it's published on John Judge's actual YouTube channel, then that to me is a little bit of a red flag in that case, versus if it were like if Idaho like court systems had like their own YouTube channel where it was kind of more of a state controlled thing. But even then, with YouTube and what can be used and what can't be used, there's a lot of debate on that and what's considered free use and what, is acceptable or not. So for a lot of different services, like Court TV and stuff like that, or any news official news organizations, a lot of the time when you see like TikToks and stuff on TV, they've usually been licensed. Usually, they have to get license, like, permission to license it, and usually a lot of people pay for stuff like that. But with YouTube, like we see in like on every channel pretty much, a lot of the times people will play clips and comment on those clips. So like theoretically, like there have been like free use cases where people have won because they were reacting to a video, and it's not taking away from people actually going to see the original video, which is has been established precedent on YouTube. That being said, YouTube also has its own copyright system where like you'll see with music or movies and things like that, even though you can still find some in some more official movies and stuff. A lot of the times, if you try to re-upload content, especially on a channel that's monetized, you might see something that comes up like, oh, this content has been claimed. And sometimes channels can claim content, or organizations can claim content, but it doesn't actually impact the YouTube channel itself. When they claim a video, they can choose to not do anything. They're just basically saying, hey, this is my content, this channel's fine to use it. They can claim the video and take the monetization away. In that case, like any money that the video would have generated is now going to the original copyright holder, but they're not still taking action on taking it off the channel. Beyond that, the copyright holder can restrict the content in certain countries. So maybe, it might not be available in some countries, but then they can also fully, take the content off YouTube, or they can also issue like straight up copyright strikes where, because you're stealing content and re-uploading content, they can put a penalty on your channel. And then that's when it becomes like a legal case, and you can do a counter claim, and then that actually becomes the legal process starting right there. And not legal professional, despite my namesake. But all that being said, yeah, it's going to be up to, if it's on judge's channel, it's up to him whether he's going to have that automatic copyright detection, whether he's going to automatically strike anything that uses it. Are they going to have to license it? Are you going to have to ask for permission? So that's on a very creator by creator basis, because, some people are fine with everybody using their stuff, and YouTube has options where you can mark it as like Creative Commons, that anybody can use it. So that there's a lot of different possibilities with things like that.
So that's an open question. I think we have to stand corrected. I think in the Laurie Daybell case, which also took place in Idaho, I think it was the state's YouTube channel. So
Yes.
so it's going to be the state's YouTube channel, I would guess. So I stand corrected on that one. But everything you just said would still apply in terms of whether the copyright protection applies or doesn't apply. And someone, and I'm going to guess it's the judge, so it's the same, really. Someone is going to have to make all those decisions you were just talking about. Someone is going to have to make the decision whether, suppose Court TV or some other, I don't mean to pick on them, suppose one of the legacy media outlets decides to start streaming it from the state of Idaho's YouTube channel. Someone's going to have to make the decision, and there we are with Judge again.
Well, I thought the whole point was to not bring media into the courtroom,
right?
But not restrict, the video from the courtroom. I mean, I thought I seem to recall that when the judge made that decision, he said that media outlets could take segments from their YouTube channel to use in their reporting about the case. So even though now this is on a judge's channel and not on a channel of the county court system, correct?
Well, that I might stand corrected on that, and that'll be one of our 5 points in the next video.
And the reason I say this now, even locally, even in my town, there is a town YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And on that channel, you can watch live select board meetings, various other meetings that do have cameras in them.
Right.
And I know that local media outlets also take segments of those YouTube videos and use them on their air.
It'll be just like we've always done this whole time whenever there's been a court hearing. Everybody will be the exact same way. I don't know why there's any kind of confusion over how it's going to take place and all this other stuff. It's going to happen the same exact way. No worries. It'll be the same way. There's no questions about it. Everything will be all right.
Air, I'm talking about a local radio station, uses it on their air in covering that particular meeting or event.
Well, don't you think there's going to be a big difference though between a locality, and their local
What's up, Crafts
zoning
and Crime?
board meetings
Well,
and that type of thing, and a
no,
judge who
I
really
don't-
is really very angry, and I think his anger came out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was angry that he had given the media 3 directives. We don't want this to start until the until the hearing actually starts. We don't want any close-ups on the defendant himself, and we're really worried about showing papers of the attorneys, and at least 2 of those were violated. So don't you think there's a difference between the local town allowing the local Christmas tree being put up to be used by people and the judge being angry at these people?
Not
really?
at all.
Really?
No, not at all.
I do.
It's either
I mean-
access or it's not. It's either,
I
it's
don't know.
either-
On YouTube,
it's either a government channel or it's not.
Yeah.
Who's
mhm.
paying for that government channel? You and
Well,
me.
I agree with you there.
So-
We agree on that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing is, on YouTube, though, I agree with Doug where it's just like they should have a standard rule. You can either use the footage on this channel or you can't, or it should be like very clearly stated in their content. Like I mentioned with fair use, if you use it like a clip and you add commentary, if you can't argue that people wouldn't watch the original, then as that's supposed to be a-okay. But at the end of the day, the YouTube channel itself can also choose who it wants to strike. So it can also choose like, oh, this person used it, we're going to let them go get a pass, but then somebody used it in a way they didn't like, and they can strike that. But it should also be made very clear too.
Well, a public meeting and a public trial being public are one and the same. The judge is.
Well, I agree with you, but
the-
this judge is not happy. And
Well, he
I
wasn't
don't
happy because of close-ups and all those other
Right.
things
Yeah.
we're talking about. He's
Yeah.
now eliminated that
Yeah.
because they're going to have one fixed camera at the back of the courtroom.
But we don't know that.
Well,
There might be a couple.
that's the likely scenario.
In the
Yeah.
Daybell,
Thank you, Kelly
There
Miller.
were a couple because you would see the camera pointing down at the at Daybell and her attorneys, and then you would see a shot of the judge. So they had at least 2 cameras. They might have had
now
more.
the court can control the content, whereas
Right.
before the court did not feel they were in control of the
Right.
content. So as
Right.
long as they control the content of a public trial, that should be available to the public to use as they wish.
I agree with it. It should be, but these people are not happy. They're not happy campers, and I think that they might actually take some steps to restrict what the media is allowed to do with it, because that was one of the things that the judge did, in fact, say in his, which I thought was overboard, but the judge in his decision kicking the cameras out said that he was very unhappy, not so much with the cameramen or women who were in the courtroom, but what was done with that later, not only the editors of the various media, but you horrible podcasters out there. So
Horrible podcasters.
Well, that could be a problem.
how he is going to control, but that has nothing to do with podcasting. I mean, podcasting is a relatively recent thing.
Well, it wasn't this channel. It wasn't this channel. It wasn't this channel. What's up, everybody? Thank you for hopping in. It wasn't this channel. We totally respected the judge's wishes. I miss that coffee cup now. That was fun.
Human behavior is human behavior. I mean, you go all the way back to William Randolph Hearst's days, and in those days, one of my favorite quotes, which is on my Facebook page, is, "You give me the pictures and I'll give you the war." I mean, these newspaper editors for years and years and years have doing everything they can to gin up the headlines to sell papers. I mean, look at the Daily Mirror, look at the New York Post, look at, I could go on and on. So it has nothing really to do with podcasters, although they are the ones that are the most popular currently. But, people have ginned up the news for years and years and years. That's nothing new. But all right, let's go on to the next one.
Number two.
Yes, and number 2 is going to be, there's just so much secrecy. This I don't think we can argue about. There have just been so many things that have been made private in this case. There have now been 10 discovery requests by the defense. And what that means, there might still be a few people that don't know what that means, but when you're in litigation, the parties are allowed to ask questions on paper and to request documents and things. And the defense has now asked for 10 different cycles of requests. And they've all been sealed. Every single request has been sealed. They file this. They say, here's our face sheet, and here's our request. We're requesting all the items that are on Exhibit A. Exhibit A is sealed. So the 10th discovery request was made.
Nobody knows. I'm just giving my opinion. That's what I think is going to take place. But they just kind of drug it on a little bit. Doug Cope, it's up to the courts, damn straight. None of us really know. That's just my speculation.
And it was sealed. But interestingly,
what's up, typically?
They cited not only the constitutional requirement that the prosecution, I should say, give them everything, but they went further and they cited the Idaho rule of criminal procedure. And they cited Rule 16B 1 through 8, and they didn't go beyond it to 9, which is interesting. But anyhow, here are the rules in Idaho. Disclosure of evidence and materials by the prosecution on written request. Remember, this is number 10. Except as otherwise provided in this rule, the prosecuting attorney must, not may or can or might think about it, the prosecuting attorney must at any time following the filing of charges on written request by the defendant, disclose the following information, evidence, and material to the defendant. Any statements by the defendant. 2, statement of a co-defendant. Isn't that interesting? Do you remember way back in the beginning when Mr. Kohberger was first arrested, one of his first statements before?
Thank you, Caddy. Here's the actual picture of what she was watching on Stephen Boyce's stream. So that's probably what it's going to look like, everybody. What's up, Sherlock? How you doing? Shout out, Caddy. Thank you. Appreciate that. So that's probably what it's going to look like when it comes to it. Yes. So we'll have 2 cameras probably. We'll have one on the courtroom and then one on the judge. And that's 2 times more than what I'm expected. But hey, if we get it, we get it. I'm looking forward to it.
Where he was told to shut up was, did they arrest anyone else? Remember that? Okay, 3. Defendant's prior record. That's standard stuff. 4. Documents and tangible objects. This is all standard stuff. Books, papers, documents, photographs, tangible objects, buildings or places. 5. Reports of examinations and tests. 6. State witnesses. 7. Expert witnesses, and that would be the DNA stuff, which we've already gone over. That's already been the subject of a previous request. So what are the expert witnesses and examinations and tests that they're looking for now? And then finally, police reports. Well, now, okay, here's the state did provide certain discovery, and they immediately filed a motion to temporarily seal the Exhibit 1 of the state's responses to the defendant's 10th supplemental request for discovery. And you might say this is perfunctory, and this came out after the major order to kick the media out of the courtroom. So I think that this kind of got lost in the shuffle. I found this interesting, though. These are the grounds on which the state now responding to the discovery request, says it should be sealed. State of Idaho, by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney, respectfully moves this court pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule XYZ for a temporary order sealing Exhibit 1, which is the stuff that they're producing. We want it all sealed because the release or disclosure would, 1, interfere with enforcement proceedings.
Here we
We turn the page, and here's the meat of this state's motion to seal everything. It could, 2, deprive a person of a right to a fair trial or an impartial adjudication. 3, 2, look, there's 2 twos. Constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. 3, disclose the identity of confidential sources, and or 4, disclose investigative techniques and procedures. So wherefore the state respectfully prays that the court seal from public disclosure Exhibit 1, which is everything that they are producing. So what's interesting about this is that, you know, they're still saying everything has to be kept bottled up. Everything has to be kept private. We're going to produce it. We're going to let the defendant see it, but we're not going to let anybody else see it. And defendant, you mayn't show anyone. So it's just, you know, this continuing volleyball of keeping everything private until the time of trial. So, you know, it concerns me that so much of it has been kept private. And so finally, we get down to the number 1. You guys want to know what number 1 is? You're going to guess?
Number 1.
Dun dun dun.
The police report. We've never seen the police report in this case. We've never heard the 911 call. We haven't heard the 911 call either by audio or by a transcript. And
why?
Because of what I just the 6 reasons, 2 of them being number 2 that I just showed you. They, you know, just don't want it to be public. That's all.
But why is that? What could be in those reports that what could be in that report and that call that we shouldn't be hearing?
Well, it's only speculation because none of us have seen it. But remember that there was an 8-hour delay between the time of the murders and the time at 11:58 that morning that law enforcement was called. So what happened in those 8 hours? There is speculation that the police were not the first parties that were called from that home. And so who was called? Why were they called? What did they do? Did they contaminate the crime scene? A number of police officers showed up before the scene was sealed. That I believe, know as a fact. Why is the police report not being unveiled? In the probable cause affidavit, you might remember that the officer who did the probable cause affidavit said that he got there at 4:00 in the afternoon. So what happened in the 4 hours roughly between 11:58 and 4:00 when he got there? So that's a big question that you asked, Mr. Cope.
Yes.
That's a big question.
Well, I can see why it's number 1.
Yeah, like actually when you think about it, I mean, even the things like the 911 call, like I don't know, it's a lot of mystery, a lot of confusion. Who did it come from? How did the cops get there? Like you mentioned, were other people there? Were they contaminating? It's a lot of mystery. It's a lot up there.
Yeah, usually in any case, really, we would have seen a police report made public. You know, there could be some redactions on it, but you know, it is unusual that no police report has been made public as yet.
Yeah, in my work, I generally get a police report. Now, sometimes they're a little bit resistive. Sometimes it has to be reviewed by higher authorities. And as you say, Doug, it's sometimes heavily redacted. I mean, I can understand them redacting phone numbers and, you know, addresses and that kind of thing. But, you know, they.
And I'm going to pause it real quick. That is a good number 1 because all of that right there. 150 questions. We're still figuring out a way that we can post them for y'all. But if you want to check it out, go to just skip ahead 20 minutes on this link, a last night show. and we get through the 150 questions as quick as we can and with a little bit of commentary. So in the meantime, until we can get those posted for you, definitely see what Angel's 150 questions are. I not only read them out, add a little bit to it, commentary, and I have it on the screen in case you want to take screenshots of the questions yourself as well. All right, we'll get back to this conversation. Very good conversation, very good questions.
We do get heavily redacted, but get out the dun 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 sound effect, because I don't know if you're aware of some of the things that are out there, and a lot of it is speculation. But there are pieces of video out there that cite people who can be confirmed by multiple sources that say that people around Moscow, Idaho, knew about the fact that a crime had occurred at 1122 King Road at 10 o'clock in the morning, not at 11:58 when the police were called. But there are people that have said that there are students who knew at 10 o'clock in the morning, that people do these groups, the Snapchat groups. And there was a Snapchat group in which a number of students were issuing dozens of messages that there were stabbings at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. That there was speculation that maybe there was an overdose. Quote, we knew there were drugs in that house, unquote. Again, these are all unsubstantiated allegations, but people have actually been quoted, and then that was verified by independent sources. And there are questions about, why it was that neither Dylan nor Bethany Funk, the two survivors, were the ones that called 911.
And it's interesting that you mentioned the Snapchat specifically. I don't know how familiar you are with it, but Snapchat's one of the few platforms. It's not like texting where you get to save the message. Snapchat, it disappears after too.
Right. There's no way for even forensic people to find that stuff.
You can save messages in Snapchat. As far as forensic people, I'm not sure, because I imagine that Snapchat has some kind of cloud data saving, but I know like the average person, if you open a Snapchat, if you go to check that Snapchat afterwards, you have maybe like one opportunity to replay it, and then after you replay it, it's gone forever. So like there's the chat function where you can save messages, and it'll show you who saved it exactly, and it'll show like everything like that. So or if you screenshot an image, Snapchat will alert the person that you screenshotted the image as well, because it's supposed to be like temporary.
Now, just generally speaking, there are in fact legitimate reasons to redact things and to keep things sequestered and sealed and private. I mean, the first number one thing is we want a fair trial. That's beyond any questioning at all. You've got to ensure that the defendant will get a fair trial. And one of the other reasons to keep things private is that you do want to protect the investigation, to make sure that police who are still investigating something are able to protect the investigation. But I would suggest, and you two have pointed out that you'll let me know if I'm wrong, I would suggest that the secrecy over this has far exceeded anything that's reasonable. I mean,
for sure.
Why is it that it wasn't Dylan or Bethany that called 911? Who was it that called? Why were they there? What happened in those 8 hours? So I would suggest that the secrecy in this case has far exceeded that which is necessary to preserve the goal of A, making sure there's a fair trial, and B, not tainting the jury pool, which are the two reasons which I would say are absolutely valid in terms of keeping things under wraps to some extent. Do you guys agree?
All the more reason to do more podcasts, because this is the case,
right,
that keeps on giving. Because
honestly,
something that all the secrecy,
keeps on giving.
Everybody wants to delve into it more than ever.
No, it's not the case that keeps on giving. It's the case that has the most questions because of the most secrecy. I wouldn't turn it into a positive. I wouldn't turn it into a positive. I wouldn't say like, yeah, it's a case we can't get enough of. That's not what this is about. This is about the questions. I don't want to I would love to be able to talk about shows that are about all of these people getting justice, right? I would love to talk about all of these shows where the right thing's happening and everything is transparent and it's legit. You know what I'm saying? That would be the keeping on giving that I would take. The fact that we have to ask, more questions than usual when it comes to these other cases, it's not a benefit. It's not a positive. Right. The more questions are more unanswered questions until they're answered. Because we have a lot of unanswered questions. And the more questions we have, the more unanswered questions we continue to have because there is no answers to it. The defense is even asking for answers to questions and they're not even getting it. It's not a positive, it's a negative, you know? If there weren't so many damn questions about this case, we wouldn't have so many damn shows on it. OJ 25 members only tomorrow. Noon Central, 1 Eastern.
And like how you bring up the point of somebody else potentially calling 911. What I thought was interesting, like this just like came to my mind, but you know, obviously there was like some rough housing heard at night, you know, allegedly, like as you know they said. But I know people were saying that blood was dripping out. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but I'm curious as to, because if the door is of a teenager, young adult is closed at noon, usually nobody goes knocking suspecting anything because people do sleep in. So it's interesting to think about like how they even found the bodies in the first place or found out that something had happened. It's like if I'm sleeping till noon, I mean, I think if anybody sleeps till noon, it's not really that surprising. Unless you have plans.
Then how do you explain the multiple, and it's speculation, I'll admit to that, but we aren't being given a lot of facts. And so when speculation is supported by verifying people's names and addresses and other corroboration, and there were people talking in Moscow, Idaho on November 13th of 2022 that something had happened in that house, and people were talking and Snapchatting at 10 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours, or I'll be more accurate, an hour and 58 minutes before the police were called. I don't buy that people were sleeping all morning. No.
But so not the survivors, but the victims is more what I'm thinking. I guess for people it makes for a very quiet house, but like you said, if it's happening at 10 a.m., is it really that strange for college students to not come out of their room at 10 a.m.? So I think there's a lot of mysteries. Like how did they know that the murders had occurred? Why were you going into their rooms unless we don't know what the scene looked like at the time? Maybe there was blood pouring out of the rooms, but it's really weird to me. And maybe the house, everybody wakes up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday and everything's hunky-dory, and they had a dog, so maybe they had to let the dog out and stuff like that. So there's different elements to it, but it is also weird to me that, especially since if people found out at 10 o'clock, how did the people in the house know at 10 o'clock? And
I want to bring this up to you guys too. How many of you guys have a doorbell or a Ring type camera type 1 in chat if you have a Ring type camera on your door, on the corner of your house, on your driveway, any of it. Now, I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you would, right? Now, think about this. When it comes to this audio that recorded what's in the PCA, right? Think about this. Lola, 111. Okay. Now, when you have, listen, I want you guys to picture 1122. When you have that camera facing a T section in a road, right? Now, this goes to all the people that have Ring type cameras that are facing a road, especially a T section, especially a road that is an only exit and enter. This is my question. You know that you don't have the sensitivity turned crazy up because think of 1112. Think of the T section of King and Queen. 1112. Think of a Ring camera there. The camera's picking up every freaking car that passes by, right? Let's be honest. You're going to have your settings turned down. Otherwise, you ain't going to have shit for a battery. Because it's constantly going off, right? Okay, now, with you guys thinking that, do you think that 1112 is going to activate to pick up the sounds from 1122? If it's not activated by something else, what would it be activated by at the same exact time that it has that recording? And this, think about this too, everybody. If there's nothing in front of the camera, does it continue to record the audio? No. It has to have something continuously in front of it in order for the camera to continue to recording even the audio of something that's taken place that's not even in its visual bubble. So something, you're telling me that something would have had to have been walking around in front of it, or a car constantly moving while it was recording those sounds. It's just something I wanted y'all to think about. Because they're sitting here talking about this stuff, and it's like, I just keep saying, I'm sorry. And then not to mention the building, it's going to have to echo. It's going to have to go through. Then it's going to have to show up on the camera, which is a direct 90-degree angle. Sound waves work crazy. But what would be in front of that camera that it would have recorded that? You're telling me an animal just hopped up there at the same exact time to activate that camera right before everything took place? Before everything took place, you're telling, what did the person that leave the crime, what'd they do? The fucked up 3-point turn again after they left the crime scene? And so the camera flipped on and recorded the stupid ass 3-point turn again, and that's how it got that? No, because it wouldn't have happened. It had to happen before and during. It makes no sense. What's up, Casey? What's up, everybody hopping in? Jason. That's a very convenient cat. All of a sudden to record right before and the whole thing. That's as convenient as taking surveillance footage off of a Washington State University building instead of the street cameras that you have the best lighting and the best clarity of a vehicle. You're going to tell me it's caught on surveillance going north and south on Nevada. You know what that means? It means that they're taking security footage from a Washington State University building instead of taking footage from the security cameras that they have on every freaking corner. Yeah, you can say, and that's what I was talking about typically. That's what I was asking in the beginning for everybody that has one. If you have one that's facing a road, especially a road that is only the one exit and enter for that whole area, you're going to tell me that you're going to have your sensitivity turned up? The hell you are, because you're going to be charging or changing your battery every other day, and it's going to become a nuisance. You're going to turn your sensitivity down because of how much traffic that road and intersection gets. You only want to have that sensitivity be turned on in that location where that camera's at if somebody's coming up on your property. That's the kind of sensitivity you want to have. And so when you really logically think about it, because that's why I asked all you guys how many of y'all had a Ring type camera, because you know what I'm talking about if you do. Hell, I don't even live on a T section, and I don't have my shit turned on to record every freaking vehicle that comes up and down the road. You know, I mean, jeez. So when you look at it that way, you're telling me somebody, what, was hanging out on the porch having a cigarette? You're telling me somebody was walking in the front yard? Now, supposedly that camera picked up the vehicle going in and out to drop the girls off. So maybe the sensitivity was turned up. Who knows? Maybe they change it at different parts of... But you're going to tell me that a vehicle... You're going to tell me that a vehicle was driving in that camera's view the whole time that camera was recording? That's some coincidence. You're going to tell me a kitty cat hopped up on that porch and was chilling like Garfield while that was right before that was taking place? That's pretty damn coincidental. One lucky cat, damn straight. It was probably black with green eyes. You know? It's a damn lucky cat. That is true. If you have it hardwired, you don't need to worry about a battery. Do you think they're hardwiring it? Do you think they're hardwiring that? You think they're calling the landlord to come hardwire that? Do you think they're hardwiring that themselves? Probably not. Probably not. You're just going to get one that you can just let it chill, and once it gets low, you just plug it into the wall outlet for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're good to go for a while again. I don't think they're going to hardwire that. Because if they were going to hardwire it, then I would have hardwired mine. I would have hardwired mine. Because I have the option to do that on mine. But I was like, nah. Did I call the landlord to do it? Nah, I'm good. I'll just plug it in and charge it up from the wall. And it's a light bulb screw-in. There is solar ones, yes. Yes. I thought about getting a solar one, but then I was like, sometimes it doesn't get too sunny, you know? I was like, I will gladly plug mine in for an hour, hour and a half. Oh, man. All right, let's get back to this conversation here. And then we'll get to some more stuff. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go blow my nose again real quick. Apologize.
At 10 a.m. So I think
No,
there's a
it's
lot
not.
of mysteries. Like how did they know that the murders had occurred? Why were you going into their rooms unless we don't know what the scene looked like at the time. Maybe there was blood pouring out of the rooms, but it's really weird to me. And maybe the house, everybody wakes up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday and everything's hunky dory. And they had a dog, so maybe they had to let the dog out and stuff like that. So there's different elements to it, but it is also weird to me that, especially since if people found out at 10 o'clock, how did the people in the house know at 10 o'clock? And maybe it was just an abnormally quiet day and they decided to check. I don't know, but
people knew way before 10 o'clock. I hope they talk about. I want to have like a medical professional that has dealt with working on, not even a medical professional, some kind of profession that we could have an educated discussion without being graphic. Where there's a conversation about science and things like that, not necessarily about graphicness, but there should never, I'm sorry. There should never be a conversation about why nobody didn't know in the time 10 o'clock be in the same category. It should, somebody, Lola, somebody, if anybody is and you watch the show, you don't chat, or maybe you do or something, please reach out to me and let me know. I'd love to. There's got to be a way to kind of explain this, instead of the way that I can explain it. There's got to be a way that we could explain it, but in a delicate way with science and kind of have that conversation, because I just don't. Even somebody that worked at a funeral home, you know what I'm saying? Because they, a coroner, somebody like that, right? Like a pathologist, a coroner, somebody, a trauma surgeon, somebody like that. Yeah. Yeah. So if there is anybody, please reach out. If not, if you guys know of any, I'll definitely reach out to any of them and see if any would be interested, because I think it's a conversation. I think it's a conversation that really needs to take place about all of this. You can only say it so much when it comes to like my experience. I can only give you my experience, but when it comes to like the science of it, I think that would be a good way to like learn more about it and be more educated about it, because when you're talking the scientific parts of it, which would be included in investigation, right? Like the scientific parts of it would be included in an investigation or a report, for a case, when it deals with that kind of crime. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to look. Or even if there's like a YouTube video and you want to send it to me, I think I don't understand why. There's no way. There is no way. Absolutely no way somebody didn't know. There's absolutely no way. It's just not freaking possible.
it leaves for more room for speculation.
I don't know. Another point that I want to make is that I'm very disappointed that there's not more active media in that area. I actually invited somebody from one of the local newspapers out there to come on our podcast, and they didn't want to come. But why aren't journalists asking more questions? And by analogy, there was a podcaster, not a media person, but before the Alexander Murdoch trial in the early months of 2023, there was a podcaster who did an incredible job investigating the boat crash and the housekeepers slip and fall down the stairs. His name was Eric Allen, and he did these incredible podcasts before the trial about all the circumstances of, Alexander Murdoch, and he was asking a lot of questions about what really happened at the Murdoch estate that night of the murder. And he did an awful lot of investigation, and some of his podcasts, I've never met the man, I'm not getting anything for saying this, but some of his podcasts were much better quality in terms of the substance of the material than I've seen on some of the legacy media. And the reason I bring it up is, why isn't there someone doing that out in Idaho? I mean, podcasters like us, we're 3,000 miles away here on the East Coast, so we're obviously restricted from what we can do. And there's a ton
the podcaster obviously has a lot of time. And as you know, conventional media now has been really stripped to bare bones. And
yeah, we have a lot of time to work on the show, sir. Shit. There's times when I should go back to sleep because I don't feel good. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep working. The people behind the scenes know the kind of work that I put in. No, yeah, we got a lot of time, buddy, but it's meant for the right thing, though, because any free time that I do have, I want to give it to the show. Absolutely. I would love to be able to report from there. Gosh, can you imagine? Can you imagine how long that trial is gonna last? Oh, thank you, Yoli. I don't know, Moto. Probably leave a message on the comments, huh? Let me see, Yoli. Yeah, let me know, Yoli. Yoli, we're having the OJ25 members only at noon Central, 1 Eastern. So let me know if you want to join us for that. We're going to have, it's a multi-part series, members only. And, we're going to have the OJ25, then we're going to have the opening statements, we're going to have the verdict, then we're going to go into a couple other things on it, and then the ending is going to be where OJ sits down with that lady and talks about the book, If I Did It, where he basically confesses and explains how it went down. Very, very interesting. It's going to be, I can't wait to start it tomorrow. It's going to be a great series that we're going to have. And I can't wait to go to sleep tonight and wake up and get ready to hit the live button for that. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, glitter? Oh, geez. No, because I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Sure, you'll be able to cover this story when it goes to trial. But before that, you got to cover, the lighting of the town Christmas tree, and you got to cover, the 2-car accident down on Main Street. And
what?
Even if I just read an article in the Wall Street Journal the other day on how there are many papers that do not have any reporters at all. So it's a
what?
So,
how's that?
So is that what the court wants here? We don't even have a trial date, and some people are saying it might go into 2025. So is that what the court wants? Is for all of us to just speculate based on what we think might be true? I mean, we try to corroborate things, but
they can't stop it. So
You know, I go back to that statement that was made by that author who, you know, talked about the reporters going into the press conference with their tripods over their shoulders as though they were marching to war. That's not the exact quote, but it just showed the hostility towards the media. And the judge, in my view, my interpretation of the order kicking the cameras out, was that he was angry. And that anger spilled over into that motion because the order kicking the cameras out quoted some law that has nothing to do with any valid concern. Remember, Doug, we were talking about how one of the basic cases the court was talking about went back to 1965 when TV cameras were the size of a boathouse.
Right.
So,
well, you know, all I can say is, Judge, you have made your bed, and now you will lie in it. So
well, I wouldn't. The other thing that where I was going with that about just the people in Idaho not appreciating the media, I guess I'll put it that way, is that I just watched the Alexander Murdoch sentencing. It just happened to have happened the day before we're recording this podcast. He had finally pled guilty to some of those financial crimes, and so they waited a week until they could bring him back. And he was sentenced, and a lot of the financial crime victims were in the court. And one of the attorneys representing the victims, when Murdoch had a chance to stand up, that guy, the attorney representing the victims, got up and walked out. Didn't want to hear any of it. But the thing that struck me was after the sentencing, and now they're pretty much done with that whole episode. Creighton Waters was, you know, giving a victory lap, thanking everybody, as well he should. He did an excellent job. One of the victims' attorneys came out and said, I want to thank the news media for their role. I want to thank the media. I want to thank the media for everything that they've done in this case. They've cooperated, and he went out of his way to cooperate with, to thank the media for their work. So why is there such a disparity between South Carolina, where the attorneys generally felt that the media was doing a good job, and Idaho, which just like is, you know, get out of here. It just really struck me that there's that attitude in Idaho, and I'm shocked that there aren't some local enterprising podcasters or up and coming media people that aren't digging into this case more. It shocks me. It really does.
It's Idaho.
Hell, and it shocks me that they're not talking about the University Idaho frickin' Phoenix deal. Like, come on. That shit's gonna be coming up for a final decision here in like a month, probably. You know? In like a month.
And not that many big cities, not that many places to attract you know, young talent or experienced talent. So I don't know. Maybe it's not that surprising.
Mm-hmm.
We disagree. I'm shocked.
Well, with the state of the media today, not that shocked, you know.
Why do you say that? I go
just,
home and I want to
know just because of all the cutbacks and the rise of social media as being the main form of journalism.
Yeah.
You know, conventional radio and television viewership and listenership is less and less every year. People aren't going into the business because a lot of the jobs either aren't there or don't pay. So, you know, I'm not really surprised at all. The general level of journalism has been reduced quite a bit. I mean, even in this town that I live in, there's no local paper anymore. There's no weekly paper anymore. There used to be for years and years and years. It's gone. If you want to know what's going on in my town, you got to watch those YouTube videos on the town channel to watch the various meetings, or else you'll have no clue. So,
yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's too bad. Yeah, it is too bad. Yeah, and the Sunday papers, we've talked about this before. The Sunday papers that used to be like this and took you all morning to read. Now they're like that, and you read them while your coffee's still warm.
Right. Well, a lot of that, of course, was advertising. And over the years, advertising in a newspaper is virtually gone. Everything's on, you know, on a website.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. I do definitely think that as sad as it is, I think, like you said, is just like the money's not being put into acquiring new talent. It's getting more expensive to live. And when we see things like YouTube and social media, I think that usually the people making videos have a little bit more going on in life. So when they're making a video, they care more about it and they get to put more into it. Versus if you're working on a news story, you only have a limited time that you can put into something. And also it has to share the spotlight with whatever other stories are going on. So I definitely see that.
Well, one of the problems with all of that is that for good or for bad, the newspapers and the TV stations and the radio stations were monitored and produced and put together by some kind of editorial control, whether it was good or bad. You know, usually the big cities would have at least a couple of newspapers. Boy, I'm dating myself now, but so one would be on the right, one would be on the left, but that's not the type of editorial control I'm talking about. The editorial control I'm talking about is, we've got to cover this story. Let's get a reporter over there. Let's get a reporter over there. Let's go take another look at that meat inspector that was caught throwing meat in the back of his car from the place that he just gave a food license to. There was some control. There was someone that had, I don't want to say a graduate level degree, but because that's not a great thing to say, but there was someone that was exercising some thought into what was going to be presented as the news that day. Now, if we're relying on newspapers where, kids just, do whatever they want. I saw a podcast yesterday, a couple of days ago. I saw a podcast on this topic. And the podcaster is actually somebody I like, but the podcaster said, "You show me why Brian Kohberger is not guilty. You can't prove to me that he was not guilty. You can't prove to me who did the crime." And that's just not the standard. The standard is that, the prosecution has the burden of proof to prove that, beyond all reasonable doubt, that sufficient evidence exists to show that this person is guilty. But this podcaster was going on and on and on about how you can't prove to me that he is innocent. And that's the wrong question. I've said all along, I don't know if you two will agree with me, but
I wonder who that is, right? I wonder who that is.
I've said all along in my podcasts on this subject.
He watches us too, and he appreciates our work. So shout out to you, sir.
That I respect that. I respect that presumption of innocence. I'm not saying Brian Kohberger is innocent, and I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm saying he's entitled to that presumption of innocence until the very end.
Right.
But you did watch that podcast.
Yeah,
it's got to stay educated on all sides.
Case closed.
What?
Case closed.
So yeah, the podcaster clearly knows.
No, Doug McMahon. It means somebody from the community said, "Hey, here's a timestamp. Come check it out." And so what if it's a fucking view? It's like 1/1000th of a piece of a toilet paper, right? Like when you're talking about just to see a 5 or 10 minute part of a video, I think it's worth it, because it takes a lot of little pieces of toilet paper. That's why we all ask everybody to hit the likes, because it takes a lot of pieces of toilet paper to get out there, Yeah, Doug McMahon. He needs to get caught up on. Bro, it's called Community Looks Out For You. They give you a timestamp. You watch it for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you go, okay, I've seen it for myself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of squares, Kelly. A lot of squares. But it is true. Trust me, I know. I say the F word all the time. I don't get Disney cruise commercials. It's ShamWow. That's it. But it's okay because it's who I am.
No, everything a podcaster says is 100% right 100% of the time. You should know that based on our channel, Andrew.
I was
based on the comments too. Yeah.
In doing this podcast, I like to do a lot of research. And Doug, as you pointed out, there's nothing in the news media about this case. No. So you've got to go on to Google News. You've got to go on.
I have to. This is an opinion. You often talk about watching court TV. I've just been watching it actually for the I mean, I've watched it before, but I have been watching it the last couple of days. Opinion, they're not that good.
They put out a lot of content too, so
You're
it's like
better.
regular news. Yeah.
In terms of really getting into a subject, researching, it's, I know it's television and I know they're trying to keep you watching, but it's usually a couple of talking heads. If it's not,
What?
in courtroom video live that's being shown, it's a couple of talking heads. And quite often, those talking heads don't have much to add, quite frankly.
Well, that was my
What? What was he talking about?
the podcaster said, "You show me why Brian Kohberger is not guilty. You can't
Court
prove
TV.
to me that he was not guilty. You can't."
Yeah, okay, let me fast forward, because what he was saying was true. Like, we were even sitting there watching, like, okay, remember when we were watching, like, the Court TV special, and that lady, what was it? She was like a psychiatrist or something, and she was talking like she studied Kohberger, and then you had the other Court TV episodes that were leading up to that, like the one where they were talking about will the case be dismissed, and they had, remember the guy with the crazy glasses and stuff, and then they had the lady in the middle and the other guy to the right that looked like Monday Night Football broadcaster, and then you had Vinny, on the other side, like, just throwing a fit at the end, and they even cut him off early. Stuff like that, where we were, the ones that we've been watching lately, and we were like, why are these people even on here? Yeah, exactly. Okay, I understand what he's saying now. Yeah, because I said that, why are these people even on here? About Court TV.
Getting into a subject, researching, it's...
Yeah, because they clearly didn't research it, because you could tell by some of the stuff they were saying.
I know it's television and I know they're trying to keep you watching, but it's usually a couple of talking heads. If it's not, in courtroom video live that's being shown, it's a couple of talking heads. And quite often, those talking heads don't have much to add, quite frankly.
Well, that was my criticism. I said, I made the point when they came out with the documentary somewhat recently called The Case Against Brian Kohberger. And I said that I like Court TV. I will defend them. I think Vinnie Politano is great. I think he does a fantastic job. He has a background as a prosecutor. And I enjoy their programs. But I'll agree with you that sometimes it's a little bit one-sided. Sometimes it's a little bit biased. Sometimes... and that particular show was one that I thought was very one-sided, and they should have been more open-minded about, hey, let's respect the fact that the guy has not been found guilty, so he's entitled to the presumption of innocence.
Well, it just looks like, just like every other media outlet, they're feeding the beast.
Well,
by
that you mean that. By that, I think you mean that the media is now 24/7, 365. They've got to fill the time. I don't know anything about the economics of Court TV, but I can imagine that, as with any media, the budget is limited, and so you do
get the shots while we can get them.
I've actually, with some exceptions, like the one I just told you, I generally like Court TV more because they show you live stuff that you can't see anywhere else.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine for what it is. It's fine for what it is. But I don't know. Don't expect too much.
A lot of times it puts me to sleep. I mean, I am an attorney, and I am an attorney, and I spend all day in my office here, and I work on my files, and I talk to my clients who I love, and I talk to other attorneys, and I deal with the courts and the judges, and so when I go home at the end of the day, I don't necessarily want to watch a lot of legal stuff. I really don't. I do it for this, but it's just so a lot of Court TV does put me to sleep, even though I defend them. It's a medium that wasn't there a long time ago, and it's there now, and they have competition too. So
that's true.
All right, Laney, any closing thoughts?
I mean, I'm laughing, but it's like this case does have a lot of twists and turns, and it, like we said, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And at the end of the day, like, a lot of this information is hidden, so we don't know a lot. So we appreciate everybody who spends their time watching us and, diving deeper with us. And I know that this isn't going to be the first video you guys watch, and it's not going to be the last video you guys watch on this case. And we're excited, as long as we keep getting your feedback. It seems like you guys are really enjoying this, and I like to see, even when you guys don't agree with us, you guys really got me on the hook with a lot of this stuff. So I do appreciate everybody who made it up to this point. Once again, thank you everybody who came from Harsh Realities channel. We love you guys, and
Aw.
we look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Doug, good to see you again. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Everyone, please like, subscribe. Have a good day.
Oh, that's awesome. Shout out Hosh. Ooh, let me like the video too. Was this a live? I didn't even know that they did a live. All right, let me see here. Now, you guys, it is a old notes, fresh notes, old notes episode. And so I wanted to, we've had a lot of conversation. I like the gavel wallpaper. That is pretty neat looking, isn't it? You know what? Here, let me make a background out of that. Hold on. So there's been a lot of talk of, we've had the aunt come out, we've had all these people come out and talk about, how they like the lady on the Court TV special, like she studied him and the people that know him and all this other stuff. You had all these other friends of other people and stuff like that. And so I was like, you know what? I like getting back into these old videos, because that's what Fresh Notes, Old Notes is. We talk about new stuff, we talk about old stuff. And this was something that was on Law and Crime Network. So this is before, or no, actually, it was after the aunt, I think. This is shortly after the aunt came out and said that he didn't even like eating off of a plate. There it is again, quagmire of chaos. That he didn't even eat off a plate that had meat on it, that kind of stuff, right? So as this old nugget, this is a episode from Law and Crime back in February, January sometime. 5 people who knew accused unaliver Brian Kohberger. And so I was like, you know what? I think that'd be a really special gem as one of those old notes episodes. Deborah. I think it'd be a real special gem as one of those old notes episodes. Because we always like to go back and, this time it's not Vinny. It's been Vinny a lot lately when we've came back to these old ones. This one's Law and Crime. So it's a good little switch, a little switch up. We don't have to worry about Vinny telling us how dark Kohberger's mind is and how dangerous it is. You know what I mean? Because the way he talks about it, I can imagine. Vinny should write books. So this one's from Law and Crime. 5 people who knew accused unaliver BK. So let's enjoy this. This is Law and Crime Network, and I'll give you the exact date here in a second.
I used to be friends with Brian Brian Kohberger during.
Let's see. This is January 16th. There we go. January 16th, 2023. Remember all this? Remember? Here, no Vinny tonight. Well, maybe. It depends. It depends. But remember this one. Remember this?
I used to be friends with Brian Kohberger during my middle and high school years. And then before anyone comes at me and says that I'm just running for clout, I'm not. I have pictures that I will show you. I have screenshots that I will show you. I have yearbook pictures that I show you. I went to school with the kid. I was friends with him. I wouldn't make something like this up. I am just in absolute shock right now.
We review the accounts of people who know accused killer Brian Kohberger. Could their interactions with him tell us something about why he allegedly murdered 4 University of Idaho students? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Let's talk about Brian Kohberger. This is the man who's been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and felony burglary for allegedly stabbing to death 4 University of Idaho students. I'm talking about the killings of 21-year-old Kaylee Gonsalves, 21-year-old Madison Mogan, 20-year-old Zana Kernodle, and 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, whose bodies were found in their off-campus home on November 13th. Now that there is a face to this crime, or maybe I should say an alleged face, something has happened, and it's something that happens in almost all of the cases that we cover. People who know a suspect come forward. And that is what is happening here. People who know Brian Kohberger have started speaking out, and that's what we want to talk about right now. We're going to go over 5 people, or maybe I should say 5 accounts of people who know Brian Kohberger, and their descriptions, their interactions with him are very important. Why? Because we still don't know why he did this, what motivated him. What drove a 28-year-old PhD grad student studying criminology at Washington State University to suddenly murder 4 college students who, as of right now, seem like complete strangers to him? There's been no established connection between Kohberger and the victims, which just makes this so much more eerie. It doesn't make sense. Now, I say this again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Allegedly did this. He is innocent until proven guilty, but putting that to the side, we are still going to review the accounts of these people and understand a little bit more. Now, I have gone on record, and I have said that even though a lot of information has been disclosed in the probable cause affidavit, the affidavit from police that lists out the evidence that led them to arrest Kohberger, the DNA, the surveillance footage, the potential eyewitness in the house, the car, the cell phone records, I believe that there is a lot more that either is known to investigators that hasn't been disclosed, or that there is more that will be learned between now and an eventual trial of Brian Kohberger. And one of those critical pieces of evidence that usually comes out later on is the testimony of people who met or interacted with him. Now, I'm not saying that anyone can just testify about Brian Kohberger. At a trial, there are rules, of course, about what someone can testify to and for what purpose. Is it relevant? Is it overly prejudicial? But at this point, we are still in the investigation stage. We are still in the learning stage. Police are asking people who have information on Brian Kohberger to come forward as this investigation continues. And I can't tell you how many times statements that are made by a defendant, either before a crime is committed or especially after a crime is committed, how many times those end up haunting a defendant at a trial, particularly if they say something while in jail to fellow inmates. Many defense cases have been derailed by loose lips in jail. So, of course, the question will be, has Kohberger said anything, or will he say anything to anyone while locked up? And he's seemingly going to be there for a while because, as we reported on Law and Crime, we covered Kohberger's status hearing where we learned he will remain in the Latah County Jail without bail as he awaits a preliminary hearing now on June 26th.
Sir, you do understand, and Ms. Taylor has represented here, that she's advised you of your right to have, or fully discussed with you, the right that you have, which is to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of the date that you initially appeared before this court. As you recall, when I advised you of your rights, that hearing is a probable cause hearing where the state has to establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. If you waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing, it does not mean that you're giving up your right to have a preliminary hearing. It simply means that you would not be able to come back and challenge that the state did not present probable cause within 14 days. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with Ms. Taylor about your decision to waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Do you need any additional time to do so?
No.
Then I will ask at this time, as to the 5 counts, felony counts that were charged in the criminal complaint that was filed on December 29th of 2022, are you waiving your right to a speedy preliminary hearing and agreeing that that hearing can be held outside the 14-day period?
Yes. Okay, so let's get into the people that know Kohberger, and we're going to start with Josh Ferraro. So Josh Ferraro actually went to school with Brian Kohberger. As the news broke about Kohberger's arrest, Ferraro went on TikTok and explained this.
Guys, what's going on? Josh Ferraro here. I went to college with Brian Kohberger. I've been looking at his picture all day. I've been saying the name all day in my head. And I was like, I know this guy. I know this guy. And then he went to DeSales University. I'm like, I know I had a class with him. I know it. The name sounds so familiar. And he looked very familiar, but I couldn't put a point on it. And he lost so much weight. When I knew him, he was a pudgy guy. He was really friendly.
Okay, he just said that he knew him when he was in college, but he was pudgy when he was in high school. What? But he said he knew him in college.
Guys, what's going on? Josh Ferraro here. I went to college with Brian Kohberger.
He went to college. But then talks about how pudgy he was?
I've been looking at his picture all day. I've been saying the name all day in my head. And I was like, I know this guy. And then he went to DeSales University. I'm like, I know I had a class with him. I know it. The name sounds so familiar. And he looked very familiar, but I couldn't put a point on it.
He was pudgy in high school. Not in college.
And he lost so much weight. When I knew him, he was a pudgy guy. He was really friendly. He led my biology project at DeSales University. And he was a pretty smart guy. And he was interested in criminal justice. And I remember having classes with him. And
you remember the pictures from DeSales University? Hold on. Do you guys remember the picture from DeSales? Hold the fuck on. Look, remember the picture where BK was standing there? I don't know if my camera's even showing it good. Hold on. Let me zoom the fuck in. This is ridiculous. When Kohberger was standing there like this, remember? If it'll show it. With a notebook and a freaking pen. What? He wasn't fucking pudgy. So that you went to college, but you're describing him. Well, when was this, Unravel? When was this tummy tuck? And I need to put some Carmex on my lips because they're a little dry. When was this tummy tuck? Because the pictures I seen from DeSales, he was pretty thin. I don't see pudge at all. Yeah, in high school, not. Listen, I seen the pictures from DeSales. None of them looked. When you're talking pudgy high school, yeah. I've seen the high school pictures. I've seen the DeSale University pictures. We've seen the Washington State University pictures. The only pudgy I noticed is when dude's in high school. Right, Kelly Miller. Classmate said he came back either junior or senior year thin. Right. It wasn't and he starts off saying he knew him in college, and then he's like, yeah, and then he was, what, dude? This is what I'm saying, man.
And for this guy to do that is beyond me. I mean, he was,
even if it is positive, bro, check your fucking story, man. What the hell? Unless maybe I'm mistaken, I don't know. But the pictures I've always seen from when he was 15, 16, all the way up to now, I'm sorry, I never seen any pudgy at DeSale.
he was a really nice guy. And
Sure
he
was.
does not look like that nice guy anymore. I mean, the guy that I'm seeing on the news looks like a cold-blooded killer. The guy that I went to college with, that dude was nice. He was a nice guy. We studied criminal justice together. He was a really nice guy. And I'm devastated and heartbroken that I knew this guy and that he did this. I'm devastated for those families. I never thought that it would be someone close to home from the Lehigh Valley at DeSales University. And here is the biology project from 2018.
Yeah, and you can literally go online and read from a script and talk like this guy. Yeah, look at the. I'm sure he had to gather his notes about, well, let me make sure. Let me see here. That's probably why he started freaking thinking, oh, yeah, I remember. Even though it was just a couple years ago. Oh, yeah, I remember the dude. Man, yeah, it's because you were looking on the internet trying to find information to make it sound like you really fucking knew the dude. Let's be honest, people. Why do they tell you don't believe everything off the internet? Just like you shouldn't believe every fucking profile is a real fucking person. And this guy's talking positive, except for what he's seeing on TV. And you know what he's seeing on TV. Of course, they're making him out to look like that. I was sucked into it too until about 10 months ago when I had to start questioning things myself because stuff wasn't making sense that I trusted as well. Look at that. Another one. Deborah Lynn with another one larger than they say. That too. You can listen. You don't think there's people that are on the internet looking up shit and quoting facts and all this other shit to make it sound? Do you know how easy it is to just search shit? You could literally have a fucking whole bunch of shit in front of you or hell, you've told the story so many damn times you already memorized it all. You don't even need to go anything anymore. You done memorized it all. What's up, D. Smith? You done memorized it all. Then you start to believe it yourself, and all of a sudden, boom. Yeah, I went to college with him. But man, I'm talking like he was in his junior year. But man, I went to college with him. Yeah, I was like, oh man, he looks so familiar. He looks so familiar. He was a great guy. Never would hurt nobody. Yeah, I was shocked. And what if BK is guilty as shit, yo? It's either way. You know what I'm saying? It's just like This is why we're playing this. Just like we're gonna get into like Tinder date, probably. Watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either side. It's the positive, it's the negative. Listen to this shit, man. You probably thought he was chunky or whatever you wanted to call it. Pudgy. Because you had to look up your fucking information. And then that's what showed up was pudgy. Oh, yeah, those are older. Yeah, those are older. So I'll just say, yeah, I knew him from back then. But he got it wrong because he only knew him from college. He didn't know him from high school. You done fucked up, buddy.
We were studying Daphnia. And there he is. And he led this project.
From AOL. Ask Jeeves.
11, 16, 18.
The butler.
Now, I want to make it clear. This was not a close friend. This was a guy I did a project with. And my first impression of him was he's a little odd, but he's a nice guy.
Don't tell me. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Don't tell me it was the project where Kohberger had a picture of him holding a notebook and a pen. Don't tell me that he was working on the same project where Kohberger wasn't even pudgy. Don't even tell me that. Somebody, if anybody knows, please tell me. I gotta know. Was he working on the project where the picture was taken? I don't know. Maybe he'll tell us. This is gonna be crazy if it is. Oh shit.
Does not stand out, but he blended in. Like, he was a pretty normal guy.
Shit.
And
please tell me you were the one that
worked
worked.
Like a normal guy now. He looks so skinny and so threatening. I'm shocked.
And this is not
damn, I wanted to hear more. If anybody knows, here, Josh Ferraro. Let me see. They have it up here. Yeah. How does it spelled on this thing? Ferraro. Let me know if he was the one that was working on the project with them. I gotta know. Was he the one that had? Don't tell me.
It comes out of left field. We see it all the time on the trials that we cover on Law and Crime. People cannot believe
Don't
that
tell
the
me.
defendant is accused of doing what he or she is accused of doing. But what is very interesting is how he explains that Kohberger was this nice, normal guy.
Don't tell
So
me.
as we try to understand what may have led Kohberger to allegedly do this, you have to wonder, was Kohberger always harboring these feelings? Or did something happen? Was there a change? Was there a snap? The weight loss is notable too.
Oh, wow,
There have been
Scarlett.
reports from people who went to high school with Kohberger that he was overweight and that he was bullied, but then dramatically lost a ton of weight, and he doesn't look the same as he used to. And it's been reported that Kohberger was a drug addict back in the day, that he abused heroin. In fact, a former friend of Kohberger's also took to TikTok to talk about her experience with the accused killer.
She called me and asked me about the murders. I didn't know where she was going with it until she said that it was Brian Kohberger, and naturally I freaked out and called about 8 of my friends. My brother was really good friends with him. My other friend, Brandon, was really good friend with him.
Oh my gosh, this one. All right, here we go. We're going to get into this one. I remember that. I want to say, man, y'all motherfuckers would get so jealous if you weren't on the top 4, because that's the reason I didn't have no more than a top 4. Well, hold on. I think when I first had a MySpace, I did have like the top top 20 or something like that. Because people would get pissed. They'd get fucking mad. So then it's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have a top 4. That way it just ends up. I'm not your top 17, CJ. Motherfucker. That shit was a headache. But that shit was cool. That shit was cool too, because you could have all sorts of shit in the background. Like StreamYard, you could have all sorts of stuff going on. Music playing. You could have a playlist up there. You could have all sorts of stuff, photography, all sorts of stuff, Your own music. You could create your own music and use it to upload your own music without having to, go to a company or something. Very cool. And it's still cool. Like, Facebook is so plain still. I'm surprised like they never adopted any of that stuff, because that was one thing that was always so cool about MySpace. But damn, them top friends lists, man, they'd start fights. It's like, yo, it's just just chill.
She called me and asked me about the murders.
Whatever the top, it was like top 20, something like that. It was whatever the max was, Yeah, people would get pissed. They'd get pissed.
I didn't know where she was going with
It's
it.
like, yo,
until she
I'm
said it was
sorry.
Brian Kohberger, and naturally I freaked out and called about 8 of my friends. My brother was really good friends with him. My other friend Brandon was really good friends with him. I'm gonna have a picture of him with him on the green screen as well. I'm shaking still, but anyway, let me show you. This is Brandon, the one I was just talking about. It's his wife Brianna. That's me. This was back in 2017. Obviously, that's Brian.
Hello. 2017. Does he look pudgy to you guys? Here, let me zoom it in for you real quick. Does he look pudgy to you guys? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm going to be having some other shows here coming up. I wanted to do it today. I just wasn't feeling all that great today. So I just kind of worked at the desk all day today. But yeah, we will be having... I do need to... We got a Stephen Smith episode already prepped and ready to go to talk about that. And a lot of these other cases too. I mean, there's so many things that I have prepped for shows. But it's just, I mean, hell, you saw my list for Idaho4 alone on the stuff to discuss, which is crazy. 2017, people, he's not pudgy. I don't know what the hell that guy was talking about. Just searching shit on YouTube, acting like you knew him.
Still has the dead face that it's the eyes. I don't know. But when I spoke to him back in 2017, he was clean. He was a heavy heroin user back in high school, and it was just nice to see the kid clean up. And at that time, he said he was doing security detail. I believe it was out of school is what he told me. But he seemed like he was better. Obviously, that wasn't true. Here's another picture from a party that we had at Brandon's house. That's Brian there. He used to be a bigger kid as well. But again, that's him. And then at the same wedding, I'm here, but he's back there. He was sitting at the same table as me and my mother. But he is back there enjoying a drink. I was sitting right next to him. We talked. He seemed fine. My mom sent me the old school yearbook. That was him.
Hello.
Kohberger. That's him. He went to Pleasant Valley.
Okay, hold on. Let me scoot it over.
But he is back there enjoying a drink. I was sitting right next to him. We talked. He seemed fine.
Does that look pudgy? Does that look pudgy? I don't think it looks pudgy.
My mom sent me the old school yearbook. That was him. Brian Kohberger. That's him. He went to Pleasant Valley. Graduated with, I think, my friend Chris, a year younger than me. This is when he nonchalantly decided to make me drive him around the Poconos for heroin, and I had no idea. I thought I was just doing a nice deed because he needed something, and it turns out that he was getting heroin.
Now, like Mr. Ferraro, it is important in this case for her to show the receipt. She's showing the evidence that she actually knows Kohberger with pictures and text messages, because in high-profile cases like these, there are those who might claim that they know him, and they really don't.
Then how did the first one slip past you, bro? I'm not saying he didn't go to school. He could have showed you the class list, and yeah, he was in the same class. I mean, he could have showed you. Who says he wasn't? That's what I'm asking. Was he the same person that was working on the frickin' project of the picture you see Kohberger holding a pen in a notebook? But when dude says, yeah, man, he was pudgy, and we're looking at fucking photos from 2017, something don't fly. I don't understand, Jesse. What?
But so far, these are people who said that they only knew him as a nice kid. Maybe he had some problems. He looked like he had a normal look. Maybe he had these dead eyes. But they said that he never said or did anything to indicate to them that he would commit a quadruple homicide. So that brings me now to someone else. Someone who had a strange encounter with Kohberger before the killings. A woman has come forward and indicated that she went on a date with Brian Kohberger. Now, this is 26-year-old Haley Willett, and she told the Daily Beast that she went on a date with Kohberger in 2015 when she was in college. They met on Tinder, they went to the movies, and then after the movies, according to her, things got weird. She says he drove her back to her dorm, and she says, quote, he started being really pushy about coming up to her room, so she lets him up and said that while he was, quote, very polite and nice on the date, he, quote, completely changed gears. She said, quote, definitely felt uncomfortable when he decided he needed to wait outside of the bathroom for me. So she ends up pretending like she's throwing up in the bathroom, and he ultimately leaves. And then later on in the night, he messaged.
So it was the complete opposite of Dumb and Dumber. Oh, remember the explosive situation in Dumb and Dumber? Just wait till me and Silky are on the show again together. We got a list for you guys. Oh, shoot. Pretended to puke. I'm sorry. Oh, can you go? Like, really?
Pushy about coming up to her room. So she lets him up and
I
said
mean,
that while he was, quote, very polite and nice on the date.
Who knows? Maybe he, like I said, I don't know. Maybe this dude is guilty as shit. Maybe he was a fucking creep. And that was the only way that she could get him to leave and feel safe. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe this dude was a fucking creep and he's guilty as shit and he committed these crimes. I don't know.
Date, he, quote, completely changed gears. She said, quote, definitely felt uncomfortable when he decided he needed to wait outside of the bathroom for me. So she ends up pretending like she's throwing up in the bathroom and he ultimately leaves. And then later on in the night, he messages her that she has good birthing hips, and they never speak again.
I was so lucky that I was never hurt. I was never raped by anyone I went on a Tinder date with. However, it could have been me. I could have been the one hurt. I could have been killed. I could have been raped. And I did not take any precautions to prevent that from happening to me. So I am very fortunate that none of that happened to me.
Why did you even give that a clip, fucking lawn crime? What the fuck are you doing? Why would you even give the clip airtime? I'm glad it didn't happen as well, lady. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't wish that on anybody. What the fuck? Why would they even give that airtime? I mean, she said, I didn't take any precautions. Nothing happened. I'm glad nothing happened. That's well, not every, because some do take precautions, but that's part of everybody's frickin' story if that didn't happen on a dating app, which is already sketch anyway. I'm glad it didn't happen, but Law and Crime, that really needed airtime for somebody to say, I'm glad that this didn't happen, and this didn't happen, and this didn't happen, even though I didn't take the precautions. Back to Jesse. What the fuck is this? I'm sorry. If I would have pre-watched this, I would have just not even given it the time of day.
Obviously, her account is eerie, and she describes very odd behavior. And look,
Eerie? Eerie. I would say it's pretty fucking comfortable if nothing happened while you didn't take any precautions. Because if you didn't take any precautions, then that meant that somebody that was really wanting to do that probably might have been able to get away with it, right? And the fact that nothing happened, even though you didn't take the precautions, doesn't that say something instead? Doesn't it say that even though there was an opportunity for somebody else to be successful if they were having negative desires and nothing what? What the fuck are you saying, Jesse?
and she describes very odd behavior. And look, I don't think that this is someone who would testify in Kohberger's trial. I don't think.
To me.
Obviously, her account is eerie, and she describes very
Eerie.
odd behavior.
No.
And look, I don't.
It's not fucking eerie. It's called, it was probably comfortable because you didn't even, if somebody wanted, you just admitted you didn't even take any precautions. Ladies, please be safe. Don't ever think you don't need to take precautions. You do. Every time.
I don't
Man.
think that this is someone who would testify in Kohberger's trial. I don't think that what she has to say is particularly relevant that ties to the killings.
If that's all she had to say in this clip, Jesse, I'm ashamed because what the fuck, bro?
Why
That
this
shouldn't
is
even been
interesting
on.
is because it goes
That
back to
shouldn't have even
Kohberger's
been
psyche.
on.
You see, according to reporting by several outlets,
What the hell?
Kohberger was bullied in high school by girls and that he would act creepy towards women. In fact, NBC News reported that according to
No, he probably got teased by girls. What the fuck is it? This world, y'all. This world. When it's so easy for people to just talk fucking negative, you know? It's so easy for people to just talk negative, and it's sad. It's sad. That's how you know the difference between this show and this community compared to some of those other shows out there and some of the other communities where it's a lot of negativity, it's a lot of shit talking, it's a lot of talking about other people, it's a lot of talking. I'm glad that you all choose this community because it really truly is every day, all day about the peace, positivity, and progress. It's so easy for people to talk negative, you know? Because it's easy. It's tough to preach positivity and progress because it takes a lot to be about it. It really does. You know, there's a content creator friend of mine that hangs out with somebody that I don't agree with. Doesn't matter. They thought that I unsubbed from their channel, and I let them know I would never unsub to their channel just because I don't agree with something disgusting that somebody else did. You know? And then they reply, "That's why you're so cool." It's true, because I am about the peace, positivity, and progress, even behind the scenes. It is always about respect for one another. I do always think about others before I think about myself. That's just who the fuck I am. That's just how I've always been. That's why I was the person that stuck up for people in high school and school who couldn't stand up for themselves. I took the fight on for them because I knew. And when people didn't treat people right, I knew I could. So I went ahead and stood up and defended them for them. All the time. All the time. What's up, Lucille? Sugar coma. It's so easy for people to talk negative. It's sad. Thank you for being part of this community. I appreciate you guys so much because it's what it's about. It's about us together. We have enough BS out there in the real world that we have to deal with, and this is our time for us to hang out. Yeah, we may discuss topics that are hard, but it's a time for us to hang out and be together and walk on this path of truth and justice hand in hand, no matter how far we are, no matter how many oceans are between us, no matter how many miles of land. We are all able to walk together hand in hand, no matter what, and that's the beauty and power of community. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
To the owner of a brewery, which Kohberger had frequented, female employees would complain about it. He would sit by himself, and he would observe, and he would watch, and he would ask women who were at the bar who they were there with. And
oh yeah, I forgot about this.
If they refused to engage with him, he would allegedly get visibly upset. Now,
wow, you're at a bar and a waitress comes up. Who are you? Where do you live? Bro. You could search for pickup lines on Google instead of having to do that. If you don't have up here the creativity of coming up with a creative catch line on the fly. Go to fucking Google, bro. Who in the hell? Somebody's coming to bring your fucking mozzarella sticks and you're like, who are you? Where do you live? What? Damn, some mozzarella sticks from A&W Moscow. Sounds so good. Oh my gosh.
I will tell you, I am no criminal profiler in
Oh.
any sense, but in a case where you have 3 young women savagely murdered, along with the boyfriend of one of them, and the cell phone evidence indicating that he was near the crime scene 12 times prior to the night of the murder and maybe was stalking them, you have to wonder, did he have some particular hatred towards women, an obsession? Was something a trigger for him? If you go back to the probable cause affidavit.
Yeah, that's why he's all over pictures with fucking females, right? And you don't see chaos going around. And I thought she did too, Sleuth, and I was like, man, them glasses look good. I was like, damn, Ann Taylor, with them glasses? Shit. I know, I'm hungry too.
It states that DM, who was one of the surviving roommates, thought that she heard crying coming from Kernodle's room, and then she said she heard a male voice saying, quote, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." We don't know if this was what was actually said. We don't know if this was even Kohberger. But now that we are learning more of his backstory and the way he allegedly behaved towards women, taking this statement as true, that does make you wonder what may have happened here.
I am completely shocked.
Oh my gosh.
But rotten hell if it was you. So.
Okay, now let's get into the people that not only know Brian Kohberger, but those that have come forward and said he either made strange comments to them or acted differently after the killings. First, we have a neighbor of Kohberger's.
What the fuck is Law and Crime doing here, man? Caddy, Truth and Justice, thank you for that. You always keep it 100. I'm mostly silent watcher, but I wanted to let you know you and your hard work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Member for 3 months. Wow. Thank you. Definitely come hang out in the OJ25 members only if you're able to tomorrow. If not, can't wait for that OJ25 tomorrow. And then we got some bonus stuff at the end. Thank you again so much, though, Caddy. I appreciate that.
Who spoke with CBS News. Now, this neighbor claims that only a few days after the killings, when all of us had very limited information about the crime, Kohberger allegedly, quote, asked if this neighbor had heard about the murders, and then Kohberger allegedly said, quote, "Yeah, it seems like they have no leads. Seems like it was a crime of passion." So, of course, the question is, why would Kohberger say that? Why would he say that at that point, making conclusions based on information that maybe only the killer would know? Now, you could say, well, this story went viral. Everyone across the nation was following it. Everyone was coming up with theories as to what happened, even with a lack of information, especially people online. So, is it a big deal that Kohberger said this? I would say in and of itself, probably no. But do not be surprised if this neighbor is subpoenaed to testify in an upcoming trial. I think you couple that statement with the other evidence, the DNA, the cell phone, the car, the surviving roommate account. Statements like these could add up to be very bad for Brian Kohberger, just part of the prosecution's case. This is important because
if you're telling me the prosecution is going to rely on the fucking people that you've shown tonight, Jesse, you're out of your damn mind, bro. You're out of your damn mind. Maybe the girl that had all the photos and she talked about him driving her around. You know what I'm saying? But these other people? The fuck? If you're telling me the prosecution is relying on that, Nevada cops, thank you for the membership. I appreciate that. Love watching. Always fun and interesting. Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words as well. Please show up at OJ25, and if not, check it out whenever you can and leave a comment. Ooh, I can't wait, y'all. OJ25 with the members only, and I'll drop the link to it at the end of the show here when we end it here in a few minutes. I'll drop the link. It will be on at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be going about 3 to 4 hours, depending on when Harsh is going live, and then we're going to go show a bunch of support to Harsh. I need to find out when Harsh is going, but it's usually around 5:45 Eastern. So if anybody knows, drop it in chat. I definitely want to make sure I'm there when he goes live.
Because as
too.
I mentioned, defendants slip up. They say things that they shouldn't say. They
This
do things
this video
that they
is
shouldn't
crazy.
do. They make statements at the time.
See what I'm
that
saying?
Could be
This
benign,
MSM
but now
shit.
looking back could be highly incriminating, and that is what I believe the prosecution needs next in this case. In fact, the prosecution is looking for more information about Kohberger in building their case against him. Did he say something? Did he do something? In fact, here is Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson asking for help from the public after police arrested Kohberger.
This is not the end of this investigation. In fact, this is a new beginning. Y'all now know the name of the person who has been charged with these offenses. Please get that information out there. Please ask the public, anyone who knows about this individual, to come forward, call the tip line, report anything you know about him to help.
You know what? Let's see if this Moscow website still has an active tip line. I'm pretty sure they probably do. Hold on. Let's take a look. Crime tips. Detectives are looking for context to the events and people involved. People involved in these unalivings to assist with the ongoing investigation. Any odd or out of the ordinary events that took place should be reported. Our focus is the investigation, not the activities. Your information, whether you believe it is significant or not, might be the piece of the puzzle that helps investigators solve these crimes. It's still up. It's still up. Okay, I just wanted to check.
In fact, this is a new beginning. Y'all now know the name of the person who has been charged with these offenses. Please get that information out there. Please ask the public, anyone who knows about this individual, to come forward, call the tip line, report anything you know about him to help the investigators and eventually our office and the court system understand fully everything there is to know about not only the individual, but what happened and why.
And by the way, Anjanette Levy, my co-host here on Sidebar, actually spoke with another one of Kohberger's neighbors too.
Did you ever hear anything up there or anything like that?
Yeah, we heard, we heard loud sound during the night.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah.
Not just once. And so it seemed like he's a night person, not do a lot of things during the day, but during night he's very active.
Right.
To like clean the floor sometimes, vacuum. It's very loud sound.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's that's the thing, I keep telling the journalists and reporters that is what we heard from the upstairs.
Yeah. But it was just he was a night person vacuuming or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even sometimes like in the bathroom wash very late. It's not like what the regular time.
Yeah.
Very late night he would do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we got stuff, and many times.
Did you ever ask him to quiet down or anything? Or?
I actually wanted, but I didn't try.
Yeah.
And once when I met him, we just say hello. I just want to see, could you please keep it quiet because we'll wake up during night and kids and it. But I
Kelly.
didn't do that. I think maybe because he just moved in at August, maybe he needs time to get used to.
Sure.
In keeping with this theme of people who know Kohberger, let's finish it off with his.
I'm sorry to hear that, Kelly. That's the shitty part about having an apartment or a duplex, you know? But for somebody to vacuum that late, I would only see somebody vacuuming that late if they spilled something. Why would you... You know how loud a vacuum is, everybody. Why would you vacuum at 2 or 3 in the morning if it was just if you were up? Wouldn't you do other stuff? Like go for a drive instead? Because you know that the vacuum's loud as shit already? Even if you have OCD, I think the only reason you're vacuuming that late is because you might have spilled something, even if you do have OCD. Other than that, you're gonna wait until it's like, you know. I don't know.
His classmates.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying all the time to make it like, yeah, he always used. Some backs are quiet, yeah. I don't. You'd be rude as fuck if you were vacuuming like that, you know.
At Washington State University. So I'll say this is not, the fifth person to come out, but this is more a fifth account we'll talk about. So the Idaho Statesman interviewed 2 classmates, and they indicated that they had several classes with Kohberger and explained how Kohberger would talk during every class. He would participate. He was very vocal. He was social. Ben Roberts, a criminal justice grad student, said, quote, "He seemed gregarious and outgoing. That was really the only impression that I got. He was making the rounds. He definitely seemed a little more eager than some of the others that were present to go around and introduce himself."
Well, look,
another
he's not even pudgy.
That they had several classes with Kohberger and explained how Kohberger
He's
would
not
talk
even pudgy.
during every class. He would participate. He was very vocal. He was social. Ben Roberts, a criminal justice grad student, said, quote, "He seemed gregarious and outgoing. That was really the only impression that I got. He was making the rounds. He definitely seemed a little more eager than some of the others that were present to go around and introduce himself." Another classmate, who chose to remain anonymous, explained, quote, "Brian only talked about his interest in forensic psychology. He was an incredibly strong student and talked during class every time. He sat front and center and was not hiding or tucking back in the back. They go on to say he was right there in the middle of it. Now, this is consistent with what we know about Brian Kohberger and that he had this interest in criminology. In fact, in the probable cause affidavit, it indicated that Kohberger applied for an internship with the police department. And also, he curiously posted a Reddit survey that asked participants to provide information to, quote, "understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime." Now, there has been speculation and there have been theories that his interest in crime and murder and the feeling and psychology behind it is maybe what drove him to commit these killings. Perhaps he wanted to know what it felt like to kill. Obviously, we don't know. But the observations from his classmates may further that narrative. Now, here is what is key. According to this classmate of Kohberger's, this social, talkative, energetic guy, quote, became completely silent when it came to discussing the Idaho murders. I could be wrong, but again, don't be surprised if these classmates end up testifying against Brian Kohberger in a larger trial. And don't also be surprised as time goes on if more people come forward to discuss their interactions with Brian Kohberger as well.
That would be great, because then all of these people that claim to know or claim to have information or claim that the story is worth anything, well, good. They'll be up in front and we'll get to see. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to all that shit. All right, let me share this real quick. And I'm so excited for tomorrow. OJ25 members only. 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Here's the link. Thank you to all the gifted memberships. Thank you for the purchased memberships. Thank you for all the memberships. I appreciate you all so much. I'm so excited to start this one. And this is just going to be every Sunday. It's going to go on for a couple months. This will be every Sunday. And then it's not going to be the only members only. There's going to be other members only shows, but it's not going to be a multi-part series. This one is going to be a multi-part series. So I'm so excited for this one. So please, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully y'all have a peaceful and positive evening. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It's a free way to help. And I will see you 2 times tomorrow, because not only we're having the OJ25 members only, but we are having a game night after Harsh's live tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Can't wait to see you.